Alright, let's start our second playthrough of Chaos Child. Haven't seen it already? Well, this may or may not be a good place to start. We'll find out. I'm curious to see how much they expect me to know for the alternate routes. It can be a lot. It could be only a little bit that changes. We'll find out now.
Eh?
We're going negative this time. We did neutral, I believe, the first time. Let's see what this delusion looks like if it's negative. They're being so polite. No, maybe we go positive. We go positive. That's true, come to think of it. Why was it so polite anyway? Maybe they're... I mean, never mind. What do you think? Well, I think it's really polite, but what? No one's ever asked me out, so I don't know. Anything else? Like, oh, how romantic? Anything? Come on. No, not really. That depends on the person, right? What's going on here, cool cat? It would depend on the person asking the question. Of course it would. Trigger on. Let's have a delusion. If it were you, Taku, maybe I'd think about it. Sarika's whisper was so soft I could barely hear it. What? What did you just say? Nothing. Nothing. Oh, I didn't hear that wrong. Was Cool Cat right after all? No, wait. If it's Sarika we're talking about here, is that possible? Usually, when you've known someone since you were little, you're so close you don't realize when they're attracted to you. You like me? What about you, Taku? What about... I mean, just hypothetically. Do you like me? She was trying to hide the fact she was blushing, but she was staring straight at me as she waited for an answer. Was she serious? From the look of things, she was definitely serious. Really? Sarika liked me? I suddenly started to see her not as a childhood friend, but as a member of the opposite sex. Dating her might not be so bad. We both knew everything about each other. But what was I supposed to do at a time like this? Was there anything about this in Cool Cat Press? Oh no, Cool Cat Press, help me! That's right, there's a hint in the January 24, 1999 edition from a column called Everything You Want to Know About Seducing Your Childhood Friend But Were Afraid to Ask. It was, how would you like your childhood friend to say they loved you? Number 3, softly in a love letter, 5 people. 2, in an embarrassing text message, 17 people. It's like fucking nobody for a magazine. Work up the courage and kiss me now, 128 people. Go for the kiss. Work up the courage and kiss me now. Oh no, wait, no. Serika. I got close to Sarika and softly put my hands on her shoulders. Our faces were right next to one another. Sarika was beet red, but she didn't look away from me. Taku. I'm a kind man. I'll take good care of you. Taku, it's also sudden. I mean... Sarika's lips were quivering. I want your lips. Okay. Sarika closed her eyes. Oh, Sarika, oh no, my beloved. Why did I not notice your beauty sooner when you were next to me all this time? I know this is extraordinarily selfish of me, but may I fall in love with you? No, I've already fallen in love with you. Taku, kiss me. steal my lips away. She whispered in a quavering voice, and I couldn't control myself any longer. Serika!
500円ちょうだい。
Give me 500 yen.
Eh?
What? What? And dragged right at our delusion. Friendly reminder that Sarika is a telepath and can tell exactly what you're thinking, but our protagonist doesn't know that. She's just staring at him as he's like fantasizing this, and she's like, 500 yen. She wanted 500 yen for a kiss? Just 500 yen? What? No, wait, calm down. Get a hold of yourself. It's just a simulation. This isn't what would happen in real life. It couldn't. Sarika wasn't that kind of girl. I took a deep breath to try and calm my heart. Alright. 500 yen? What are you talking about?
これこれ。
Here, I
忘れて
forgot.
た。
She showed me the paper bag she was holding.
さっきそこでゲンさんに会ったの。タクにいつものだって言って渡してくれって。
I just
他で500円でいいって立て替えたの。
ran into Gen. He gave me this. Said it was your usual. I paid him 500 yen for
い
it.
つもの
My usual? Confused, I took the bag from her. Gen's usual changed every time I talked to him, so I couldn't count on it. What was it today? That drunk old bastard.
何？いつものって。
What's your usual?
なんでもない。
Nothing. Here, 500 yen.
500円。
I forced 500 yen into her hands. Ignoring her persistent questions, I led her to the door.
明日学校で
See you at school tomorrow!
え？
What? Huh?
データはありがとう。
Thanks for the pictures. They're a big help.
わかったよ。
Fine. Reluctantly, she left my room. Whew. Damn it. Sure, this was what I always bought from Gen, but the information in the last one was no good. What the heck was a cool cat anyway? A cold cat? Is it cold because it's dead? 100 ways to secretly show your sexy side.
じゃない。
No. I need to hide this too. I had so many of them now, I was running out of room on the top shelf. Wait a minute. How many copies of this magazine does he have? I want you to look, just look at the image before you and ask, how many top shelves does this man have that he's running out of space in top shelves for Cool Cat magazine? Like, how many issues of this thing does he actually have? When I tried to force it in, a mountain of old papers came falling out. Damn it. No room, huh? What's this? It was an old scrapbook about the murders that occurred 6 years ago in Shibuya. I'd bought it from Gen too, come to think of it. I'd already scanned it, but forgot to throw out the original. How could I, of all people, be so lax with information? I just have to bundle it up with the rest of my collection. My eyes lingered for a second on the page. Come to think of it. I quickly ran over to my PC. I opened the files in the case I'd been looking for.
マジか。
Seriously? My words were a whisper. I looked back at the scrapbook, then compared to the data on the PC. There was no doubt. I kept looking at it, and it kept saying the same thing. But this... if my hypothesis was right...
きっと警察も気がついてないさ。
I'm sure even the police haven't noticed. Ah, the sumo stickers post. There's all these weird stickers showing up around Shibuya. Face of a sumo wrestler. You started seeing them around 5 or 6 years ago, but they're showing up all over the place. And look, people are posting links all over the place. All over the place. There was one under the escalator at the Kahariwo. How the hell did they get one down there? Took this one a few years back. Saw that one too. There's some weird alternate ones. I always feel sick when I see that face. I once threw up when I saw one of those stickers. Shit sucks. Whoever puts them up needs to fuck off and die. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm scanning this because we've read this before, but I'd just like to point out whoever 182 is, we don't know who they are. They're a psychic though, right? He always feels sick when he sees the face, so he's vulnerable to the 13th Rorschach, or the 11th Rorschach. Interesting. Heard if you scribble on one, the sumo wrestler curses you. It's impossible to get the damn things off. Saw your first one today. Okay, someone make a Delude map and list all their locations. If you go to Shibuya, you get stare raped by sumo wrestlers. I don't understand the sluts that go to Shibuya to enjoy that. This guy here is a real treasure. Y'all know about Ito. Think positive thoughts, everybody. Think positive thoughts. We haven't seen the positive delusion for this one. We haven't seen the positive delusion for this one, so we're gonna do positive. The first two delusions, I believe, was it the first two delusions? This class 3-1, Ito's a near class. Most of the class were busy with Garo Froggy Cafe we're doing for the festival. Some people were ignoring the fuss and studying. Good stuff, man. Some of the otaku were reading light novels. Did they really think if they left the paper cover from the bookstore on it, we wouldn't tell it was a light novel? They were just trying their best to stay out of the way. No, they're just reading and ignoring it. Let me explain it to you. When I'm doing nothing in class and I just pull out a book and read, I'm not trying to hide the fact I'm reading. I'm just reading because I don't want to talk to you. Anyway, most people were happily making Garo Froggy decorations or putting on Garo Froggy costumes and messing around. All the clubs had to participate in the festival, and so did all the classes. No one told me, but evidently, several months ago we decided to do a Garo Froggy themed cafe. Dummy. Garo Froggy has a girl's voice. Well, sure, but it's a culture festival. We're allowed to change it. It's wrong.
Huh?
Ito tilted his head in confusion. Right. Hey, Miyashiro.
Eh?
What?
このゲロカエルンの着ぐるみさ、ちょっと着てみてくんないかケロン?
You think you could try on this Garo Froggy costume? Garo. That's like Rivet, right? Sorry, we're busy. Sure. I'll put it on. What?
アンガと宮代、あんたならサイズぴったりかなって作ってる時から思ってたんだ。
Hey, thanks, Miyashiro, when I made it. I kept thinking you were the perfect size. I can't remember whether the first delusion or the second delusion, or the second delusion or the third delusion was the one we finally figured out how to make choices on. I managed to get the costume on without much trouble. I slipped the top part over my head. It was pretty hot inside, and since I could barely see anything, it felt really claustrophobic.
どう?
How do I look?
ぴったり.
Perfect. Try saying something.
ゲロカエルンだ、ゲロ.
Garo Froggy, Garo.
かわいい.
So cute. I'm gonna give you a hug.
してあげる.
It's getting a hug from a random girl in class. Then I felt something soft pressed against my arm.
ゲロカエルンも私のことギューってして.
Hug me too, Garo Froggy. Really? I slipped my arm around her like she asked me to.
やん、お尻触んないの。ゲロカエルンのエッチ。
Oh no, don't touch my butt. You're such a pervert, Garo Froggy. Hadn't I read something about once how you could hug all the girls you wanted to if you put on a costume? At the time I thought it was a bunch of crap. Did it really work? I was having the time of my life when...
おー、ゲロカエルンできたの?
Oh, Garo Froggy's done.
かわいい。私もムギュってしたい。
He's so cute, I want to hug him too.
ずるい。私も。
Oh, me too.
ダメ。ゲロカエルンは私だけのものなんだから。
Garo Froggy's mine.
だったら私たち全員で一斉に抱きついちゃうってのは?
Why don't we just hug him all at once?
それいいかも。
Great idea. Oh boy.
まあいいか。いいよね、ゲロカエルン。
Okay, I guess it's okay, right, Garo Froggy?
じゃあ行くよ。
Here we
せ
go.
ーの。
1, 2, and...
ゲロカエルン大好き。
Froggy, I love you. I thought about telling Ito about this, but knowing what a skirt chaser he was, he might actually take it seriously and try to put the costume on. It was probably better not to tell him. I wouldn't want to see him sued for sexual harassment. I decided to get back on topic. Took out my Pokecom and showed it to Ito, and yeah, we're talking about the murders. Alright. So, the good news is the game auto freezes at delusion triggers, so we just press skip and wait. Because I didn't know that one was coming up. This is the first one we actually found something. I'm just gonna do all positive. A female student was looking in. She must have been in a hurry because she was a little out of breath. She brushed her long hair over her eyes and was about to come inside.
どうしたの？
Oh, it's no.
おお、上帝。
That's the Empress. Perfect timing. The whole class started to talk to her.
ちょっと
Hold up. How's it going, Nono? He was about to say something when her foot caught on one of the cables running across the room. Suddenly, she tripped. Trigger on. Nono's tripping. This is gonna be something lewd. Watch out. I moved quickly. She staggered forward, but I grabbed her to keep her from falling.
気をつけろよ。
Careful. Her hair flew up and tickled my nose. It smelled good. And her body was very soft, extremely soft, in fact. It felt kind of squeezable. What was I touching? Was any part of a person's body this soft? No, at least nothing on a man's body was. Which meant, what was this
宮
softness?
代、お前とんでもない勇者だな。こんな大勢の前で堂々と女帝のおっぱいをもみもみするなんて。
Miyashiro, you're the bravest man I've ever met. Grabbing the Empress's boobs in front of all these people. That's a good trigger. All right. Boobs. No, wait. Oh no, it was an accident.
事故だ。事故なんだ。
An accident. As if that ever actually happened. She'd kill me for sure. Just thinking about it made my blood run cold. She almost tripped but managed to keep her balance. No more delusions, sad. Alright, guess we're gonna have all the fun of all the delusions, which we're gonna try to be really positive. Words. Nice talking to you, Nono. And then there's this asshole. Think positive thoughts, Takuru. Think positive thoughts.
またお前か。今度は何したんだ。
You again. What did you do this time? Kawahara cut her off. I didn't know his first name. He was in the same class as Ito and I, and he was the vice president of the student council.
いやいい。言わなくても分かってる。
You don't need to tell me.
また例のくだらない記者ごっこ
Pretending to
だ
be a
ろ。
reporter again,
それ
right?
とも探偵気取りか。
Or was it a detective? Guy's just being a dick for no reason. I knew why he was giving me a hard time. He didn't like that Caruso was spending time with me. He's jealous.
別に。
It's not a...
その。何？
What?
川原くんに迷惑はかけてない。
It's not any of your
と思い
business,
ますけど。
I think.
かかってるんだよ。クルスの時間が割かれると、同じ生徒会の俺たち全員にな。
It is my business. When you take Caruso's time, you cause trouble for me and the rest of the student council. Angry man. Trigger on. What's a good delusion for this? I happened to glance down at Kawahara's belt. The fasteners seemed to be broken. That gave me an idea. What? I yanked down on his pants as hard as I could. Just like I thought they came straight off, his underwear was plainly visible.
白ブリーフかよ。
White brief.
宮代、お前何するん
What
だ。
was that for?
君があんまりうるさいから。
Being so annoying.
ふざけるな。
Screw you.
川原くんいいから早く履きなさい。みっともないでしょ。
Kawahara, just put your pants on. That's disgusting.
みっともないって。
Disgusting, but
そんな。
ほらみんな
look
見
at
て
that
る。
face Kawahara is making. Come on, everyone's staring.
あ、
All the students around us were staring at him and laughing. His face quickly turned red.
ひどい。ひど
He's
すぎ
such
る。
a jerk, a mean jerk. He pulled up his pants and ran away with tears in his eyes. He looked absolutely miserable. Alright. Just imagining that made me feel better. I'd never do something so childish in real life, though. Yanking someone's pants if they ticked you off was the kind of thing a third grader would do. I was above that. I knew the best way to deal with someone like Kawahara was just to ignore them.
お前、小中と不登校だったんだって。
So I heard you skipped most of elementary and middle school. Is that true? Oh, it probably is. Alright. And resuming our skipping process. Whee! Burp. Positive thoughts, people. Positive thoughts. Positive thoughts. I'd only gotten a glimpse. It was entirely possible I'd been mistaken. If I burn the image into my brain now, maybe the next time something this happened, I'd be able to react more quickly. I prayed for more good luck. If it ever happened again, I swore I'd react as a right-sider should. A right-sider wouldn't panic over something as insignificant as seeing a girl's underwear. In a situation like that, it was critical you stay calm. Trigger. Alright, what delusion are we getting this time? Realistically, the chances of anything like that happening again were near zero. The wind wasn't especially strong today. If I ever wanted to see my pure white goddess again, I needed the help of something other than the wind. For example, let's say for some reason the pencil holder on the desk fell to the ground. It says more. We want more. Let's say the pencil holder on the desk falls to the ground. Karus would complain a little, but she'd bend over and start picking up the pens on the floor. I'd help, of course, and I'd bend over like she did. But since we're both at eye level to each other, there's no way I'd get to see anything. If I did, I have a chance. It would be when she stood up. When that happened, I'd watch her stand up, acting as natural as possible. Since I was bent over, I'd naturally be lower than her. Maybe then I would see my goddess once more. The bonus trigger. Oh. And then Ito moved to turn on the printer, and his hand knocked my camera off the desk. I watched in shock as the camera fell toward the floor in slow motion. Again? Instead of 2 strokes of good luck, I'd been given 2 strokes of bad. The first time the camera had survived, but I might not be so lucky this time, so my body moved without thinking. I flung myself forward and stretched out my hand toward the falling camera. The thing's expensive, I'm not letting it fall twice. The camera fell right into my outstretched hand. Yes, nice catch, I couldn't believe it. But I was going too fast to stop. I slid headfirst along the floor. Whoa, that's dangerous, man. We saved the camera, that's important. Hey, are you okay? Karus ran over to me. And then a miracle occurred. I was lying on my back and I looked up toward the ceiling. At the same time, Karus bent over to help me. And since she was in a hurry, she didn't take the time to hold down her skirt. So I saw her. It wasn't as clear as before, but I got a quick glimpse of my pure white goddess. And from a much closer distance before and at a lower angle. Takuru, what are you staring at? Jeez. You're so silly. Well, she didn't kill him. Could have been worse. Nah, no way. Karus wasn't the type to be cute when she's embarrassed. She'd probably get another scary look on her face and I'd start choking me and demanding to know what I was looking at. No, that's never gonna happen. It's wrong to hope for another encounter with my white goddess. It would only end in tragedy and pain. If I got slapped for peeping at my student council president's panties, it would damage my reputation at school. I gritted my teeth and tried to stop my gaze from wandering down to her skirt. Another delusion. Wait, what? Another delusion? I was just like clicking dial. What? The online game addict had the best computer skills of anyone in the club. When she was around, it was her job to run searches and organize information on the PC, but I forgot there were so many delusions. Like, in the last like 6 chapters, there's like no delusions. So this is like really weird going back to the first chapter and being like, wow, there's a crazy amount of delusions. It's like we got like 2 lines of dialogue and another delusion. That's crazy. Kazuki, we don't need you for this. I don't consider this part of the club activities. Kazuki gave us a questioning look. Yeah, that's right. Kazuki just said, like she always did and walked away. Trigger on. How does this go well? See, Kazuki, your hand's still red. I'll rub it some more for you. Kazuki obediently walked towards Karus. Karus took her hands and rubbed them gently like a mother would. It must have hurt, right? Why would you do something like that? Well? Does it still hurt? Pain, go away. Oh, she's like licking her fingers. I can see the white lilies on the left of the screen. We know what our character's thinking. I mean, the rest of the scene is also pretty descriptive. Damn, alright. Our man needs to go to horny jail. He needs to get fucking bonked right into horny jail.
カズキ、どうしたの？急に抱きついて。
Kazuki, what's wrong? Did you just hug me like that?
まあ、甘えん坊さんなんだから。あ、もしかして私がしばらく部室に来られなかったから寂しかったの？
You're such a spoiled little girl. Were you lonely because I haven't been able to come to club for a while?
じゃあわからないわ。ほら、私の目を見て、ちゃんと答えて。
Doesn't tell me anything. Look at my eyes and answer me, okay?
寂しかったんでしょ？
You must have been lonely, right?
照れちゃって可愛いのね。
You're blushing, it's so cute.
ごめんね、寂しい思いさせて。でも安心して、今日はずっと和樹と一緒にいてあげるから。
I'm sorry for making you so lonely. Don't worry though, I'll stay with you the whole time today.
私もあなたと一緒にいられて嬉しい。
I'm happy I get to be with you too.
手の痛みはもう引いた？まだ？じゃあとっておきのおまじない。
Does your hand still hurt? It does? I'll use my special charm. Kazuki watched with a look of ecstasy in her eyes as Karu softly kissed her fingers. It felt like I was seeing something I shouldn't, so I looked away.
和樹の指、細くてとっても綺麗。
Your fingers are so thin and pretty, Kazuki.
おい、何ぼんやりしてるんだ？
Hey, why are you spacing out? Important thoughts. Important thoughts, Ito. Don't distract me.
宮代？
Miyashiro?
いや、別に。
Nothing.
うん？
I chased the stupid idea out of my mind. Karusa was nice to everyone, even girls like Kazuki who couldn't communicate with others. Of course, in reality, Karusa and Kazuki had never done anything like that, and they never would. Kazuki put her headphones on and went back to the corner of the room, started slamming keys again. I never did know how to talk to her. Actually, it felt like it had been forever since I'd even spoken to her. You could call this a conversation, that is. She'd been part of the club for 6 months, and all I knew about her was she liked games, knew a lot about computers, and hated talking. Alright, in the end, Ito printed the pictures, and I took them and went in front of the bulletin board before Karus changed her mind. Oh, there is a delusion. Shit. I was completely wrong. I literally said there's no delusion, and there was immediately a delusion. Alright. I listened carefully, but I didn't hear anything revealing. Just the quiet rumble of the air conditioning.
覗き穴とかないの？
There are people. Come on.
ここはラブホ
This
テ
is
ル
a
だぞ。
love hotel.
ああ、そっか。
Oh, right.
おい、何を？
Hey, what are you
ノック。
knocking?
お前な。
Trigger time. And suddenly the door opened. We didn't expect anyone to open it, so both Sarika and I froze. And then they came out.
あら、坊やたちが次のお客さんかしら。
Oh, are you two the next customer? Wait. It was a voluptuous woman with long hair, and she was completely naked. Not only that, her body was as nice as any you'd see in a magazine. Wait, didn't she look a lot like a model or actress I saw on TV? Oh, Taku! Taku, don't look!
かわいいお客さんね。
You're so cute.
入って。
Come in.
あ、
Yeah.
そういうんじゃないんで。
It's not like that. Taku, Sarika, and some unknown hooker. Alright, alright.
いいのよ。
It's
お
fine.
嬢さんも一緒でも。
You can come in too, miss. What? In other words, what exactly?
すっごく気持ちよくさせてあげる。
I'll make you feel great.
だか
Come
ら
on in, okay?
僕、
Taku,
どうしよう。
what should we do?
お前、なんでちょっと入る気になってるんだ？
Why do you look like you want to go inside?
だって
Because. Florika's face was red with embarrassment. She whispered softly,
気持ちよく。
I want to feel good. I want to feel good.
そんな状況じゃないだろう。
That's not what we're here for. Something was wrong with me.
そんな状況って？
What's not what we're here for? Damn it, I said what I was thinking out loud.
いや、
It's
なんでもない。
nothing. Rick was knocking the door for room 306. No one's answering.
警
Okay,
察もいないし。
we're gonna fast forward only a little bit. I want to see a couple details of the room they go into. Okay, I have a question. We hear this knocking sound. Who the fuck is on the other side of that door? Who is on the other side of that door? One second, I need to drink. Based on what we know, this knock should be impossible. So we are missing at least one hole in like the complete understanding of the story, and that is how this knock was possible. Our protagonist doesn't know about that, doesn't think there should be a knock there. So it's not like his telekinesis. Sarika can't make the knock. Why is there a knocking sound if the police all confirmed that there wasn't anybody there on the camera, which apparently there was a camera that was pointed there and they would have known? I want to know how we got this knocking sound here. That is something I'd like explained in this route or one of the later routes, is how there was someone here. Or at least how the knocking sound came up here. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. This is the scene I'm looking for. Arimura was mind controlled. There we go. If there was any question, her eyes are bleeding. Pink/red. She's definitely been mind controlled. Her eyes are red. And they're not red in future scenes. She's been brainwashed. In case there was any doubt. Also, curious detail, we can, in the bottom left of the window, see the sumo sticker painting. See the sumo sticker? It's actually visible right here in this shot. Nice detail. Alright, we're done. Oh, here we go. We're sticking positive. My room was the same as always. There was no sign of anyone approaching it. I listened carefully to see if I could hear anything outside. Nothing.
だよな。気にしすぎだ。
Alright, come on, you're worrying too much. Trigger on. I think the negative delusion is... we get murdered, right? Hine murders us here, right? Even our negative delusion? Huh? I heard a knock at the door, right? I couldn't believe it, I'd forgotten to lock the door. I froze as it swung open from the outside. Someone was here. Who? We've seen the negative delusion for this. It's Hine comes in and stabs us, right? I knew two people who would come in without waiting for an answer, but was it okay for me to just stand here? Who's there? I gulped and spoke in a hoarse voice. Poking through the gap in the door was... Sarika. Taku? Oh. Someone I knew well.
よかった。
Good,
起
you're
きて
still
た。
up. Yeah. Relieved, I staggered over and sat down on the bed. That hadn't done my heart any favors. For some reason, Sarika was standing at the entrance, fidgeting. She didn't try to come any further in.
どうした？
What's wrong?
こんな時間に女の子一人でここに来るのはあんまり良くないと思う。
I don't think it's a good idea for a girl to be coming by alone at this hour. I didn't think any of the homeless in the park were bad people, but someone who was hard up for money might attack her. Especially after what I seen. I felt like I was going to start imagining things I didn't want to visualize.
タクは大丈夫？
Taku, are you okay?
何が？
Okay with what?
昨日あんなことがあったから。
Honestly, not really. Was Sarika going through the same thing?
家に一人でいると昨日のこと思い出しちゃうんだ。それで怖くなって。
I'm alone in the house. I remember what happened yesterday, so I get scared and can't sleep.
尾上。
Oh no.
ねえ、私 一人でいるの嫌だな。
I don't want to be alone tonight,
今
okay?
日だけでいいから
Can I stay over just for tonight?
泊まらせてくんない？
I knew exactly how she felt. Just having someone you knew next to you was enough to make you feel a lot better. Take me, for example. Having Sarika here was letting me relax a
いい
little.
よ
Sure. I'd have to sleep on the floor, I suppose.
ありがとう。
Thanks. Sarika must have felt better when she heard my response, because she looked like she was about to cry. She sat down right next to me on the bed. Why was she sitting next to me? There were other places to sit, but when I looked closer, I saw her shoulders were shaking a little.
そのことが頭の中に焼き付いてて。
I just keep remembering what happened yesterday.
尾上
Oh no. It was natural, I suppose. Sarika was a girl and she was younger than me. Damn. Well, half the early positive delusions are just like my boy Takuru being horny as fuck. Alright. Sarika was a girl, she was younger than me. Seeing something like that must have been a huge shock to her. It was my fault for getting her caught up in this, and as I started thinking about that, she put her head up against my shoulder.
タク、
Taku,
一緒にいて
stay with me,
お願い。
please. Interesting. It all just fades to
ずぶと
black.
いだろ
It all just fades. That is a literal fade to black. Taku, stay with me. Fade to black. Interesting. Alright. I think we know how that one goes. Oh no, it's a lot tougher than that. Of course, in reality, Sarika would never let me see her being that vulnerable, and she never would actually come to visit. Was she okay, even if I wasn't? Maybe she's fine. She's probably just dense. Yeah, I was really delicate, so in a sense, I was jealous of her. I sighed a little and locked the door. That's right, crap. It was a new day.
ネットの知識者はどうだ
What about pundits on the internet? I quickly opened another site. Shibuya News. Alright. Ah, okay. And it's back to skipping. Cruz loves sweets? This is something Sarika said, and I'd known about that too. Would buying or something like that from a famous sweet shop be enough to win her over? Would bribery work on someone as prim and proper as the student council president? Yeah, that's worth a try. Fantasize about successfully bribing the president. Unless we could win her over, we weren't going to be able to continue with the
よ
game.
し、これから賄賂を買いに行こ
Let's buy something to bribe her with.
う。尾上、クルスが好きなスイーツ店の上位3つを教えてくれ。
Tell me Kurusa's 3 favorite sweet shops.
買いに行くなら私も行きたい。
Okay, if you're going to buy something, I want to go too. You're just clearly intending to buy something for herself. Well, that's fine. It's time for the mission to begin.
というわけで、これ、
Here you go.
クルスにプレゼント。
Present for you, Kurus. I knew that Kurusa was staying late after school to get ready for the festival. I handed her the present I just bought. Sarika had told me about a pancake place near the Shibuya station, a popular store when there was always a line of girls outside. I heard it was one of the few places you could get pancakes for takeout, so I quickly chose it. Staying in line with girls for an hour was almost torture, but somehow I managed to do it.
これってエッグスンサンクスのパンケーキ？
Is this a pancake from X Thanks?
そうだけど、
That's right.
あそこいつも並んでいるから
Close the line.
なかなか手に入らないのに。
Her eyes were shining like a little girl's. It wasn't an expression I was used to seeing from her.
私にくれるの？本当に？
You giving these to me? Really?
いつ
I
も
always cause you a lot of
迷
trouble.
惑。
タクルがこういうプレゼントをくれるなんて珍しいね。
It's so rare for you to give me any kind of present like this, Takuru.
ありがとう。すごく嬉しい。
Thank you. This makes me really happy.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. After seeing how happy she was, I couldn't tell her I was trying to bribe her. That's true.
あれおかしいな。
These pancakes are so good, she literally burst into
え
tears.、
なんで
It's strange. Why? Why was she crying?
ごめんね。こんな幸せあるんだなって思って。
I'm sorry, I just didn't realize it was possible to be so happy.
変だ
It's
よ
weird
ね。
for me to cry so much,
こん
isn't
な
it?
ことで泣いちゃうなんて。でも本当に嬉しかったの。ありがとうね、タクル。
made me really happy. Thank you, Takuru.
よかったら半分こしない？
Want to split
Eat it,
this? It's okay, right? I think I'm out of pancake mix, but I kind of want pancakes for some reason now. I was satisfied with the results of my simulation. This might work.
よし
Okay, I've
わ
got
か
it.
った。
いいのか？
You're sure? Ito must have been really surprised by my answer because he badly overreacted.
お前はそんなに勇敢なやつだったか？
I didn't know you were so brave.
やるときはやるんだよ。
I'm always brave when it
ただ
counts.
サーバーに上げるのは待ってくれ。慎重を期したい。
Just don't put anything on the server yet. I want to be cautious.
OK
Hey, it has to be this one has to be positive. This is our first actual root trigger, which we've been looking for. What's she
タクル
doing here?
あなたたちもどうしたの全員で？
Taku, what brings you three here?
あ、いや、
no. The woman, no, the girl stared at us suspiciously. And then for the first time she realized I couldn't take my eyes off her.
ん？
What's wrong with you people?
何ほうけてるのあなたたち？
Oh,
Eh,
The words wouldn't come out. What do I say? Why was she here? Why was she acting so normal? Trigger on. Trigger on.
はじめまして。私、クルスノノの妹です。
Hello, I'm Nono Kurusa's younger sister. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. We know this isn't true. What the fuck? How does that work? We know our character should know this isn't true. How is this scenario playing out? Your Kurusa's younger sister. The girl suddenly smiled and bowed.
妹？
Sister, they know it's not true too. What the fuck?
嘘だ。
You're lying. Kurusa never talked about
妹がいるなん
having
て
a
話
sister.
聞いたことが。
渋谷地震の時に生き別れになっていたの。私自身妹はもう死んじゃったんだって諦めていたんだけど。
We were separated during the quake. I thought she was dead and had just given up hope.
まさかこうして再会できるなんて本当に奇跡ってあるのね。
I can't believe we've reunited. Miracles really do happen, don't they? There were tears in Kurusa's eyes. And then this girl really was her little sister? I was still having trouble believing it as the girl walked up right next to me.
あなたが宮代タクルさんですか？
You Takuru Miyashiro?
うん。
Yeah, that's right.
そうだけど。
How did she know my name?
じゃあ、私にとってはお兄ちゃんですね。
Then you're my big brother, aren't you?
なん
What did you
だ
say?
と？
そうなの？
Is that right?
だってタクルさんはお姉ちゃんにとって弟同然なんでしょ？
Well, Takuru's basically my little sister's big brother. My big sister's little brother, right? Oh, look, she's leaning on you. Yeah, sure. The hell, this doesn't make any sense at all. I looked to Kurusa for help.
タクル仲良くしてあげて。
Takuru, be nice to her.
よろしくお願いします、お兄ちゃん。
I can't wait to learn all about you, Oni-chan. All of a sudden, I had a little sister. Things around here were gonna get a lot more complicated. Or not. Not a chance in hell. There really was no way this girl was Kurusa's little sister. Not that I had any idea what she was doing here.
のんちゃん知り合いなの？
Oh, if we do all positives, we might get Kurusa's route. Because it branches before this. Oh, interesting. Okay. We might have to stop doing all positive delusions then. We'll just stop and do neutrals for the rest, I guess. Kind of boring, but we can do that. No. Do you know her? Sarika motioned towards the girl.
ええ、後輩。2年生で文芸部部長の有村ひなえさん。
Alright, we're out of the delusion. Nothing new. Is Hina Arimura a second year who leads the literature club? And also, we're gonna skip this conversation. Actually, we're not skipping it far. We just have to go positive for like 2 seconds. Where's it far? There we go. I was gonna say, it shouldn't be far. We actually just do positive here too, right?
そのホテルで
In the hotel.
ホテル？
The hotel?
何してたんですか？
What were you doing in that hotel?
あのホテルで。
A moment. It felt like her body moved for just a moment.
Arimura-san?
Arimura? I could see Kuru's frown in the corner of my eye. She was looking at me. Her expression hadn't changed, but for some reason it felt like she was looking me over. Good delusion. Here we go. She smiles. Oh boy, that's not Kuru. That's not Arimura at all. And then she smiled.
Hmm?
What?
気になります?
You want to know? Do we want to know?
そりゃ
Well. Just as I spoke, she leaned over and whispered in my ear.
だったら今度
Wait, I think we've seen
二
this
人
one
で
before.
一緒に行きましょう。
Why don't we go together next time?
え
What?
何？
What?
な
What
ん
did
て
she
言った
say?
の？
私と宮代先輩だけの秘密です。
It's a secret between me and Miyashiro. I considered it a possibility but quickly abandoned it. I couldn't imagine her doing something like that after what I'd seen at the hotel. Something much worse was going on here. An awkward silence ensued as we waited for her to
あ
answer.
なただったんですか？部屋に入ったっていううちの生徒は。
And resume, I guess. Ah, we can do all positives, I see.
なんでもない
It's nothing. What's that?
なんだそれ
ご飯だよ。
Food.
買ってこいって言ったの
You're the one who
タカじゃ
told me to
ん。
go buy it. He was right. I spent all of lunchtime going around the school taking videos of the preparation for the fair. What a pain. This is the one where it's like vaguely erotic eating
しん
food,
ちゃん
right?
はハムサンドとコーヒー牛乳。
I think I recall this one.
Thank you.
I think we did positive
タ
last
ク
time,
は
right?
カロリーブロックとマウンテンビュー。
栄養バランスを考える
This is the one where it's like vaguely lewd eating, right?
焼きそばと酒をチョココロネとあん
相変わらず燃費悪いな
女子だよ。
Yeah, I'm just gonna skip through it. Alright, here we go. Yeah, I knew him. That was the detective who visited the interrogation room during our questioning.
ごめん、休養ができてしまった。
Sorry, I
買
got
い
the
出し任せていい？
You take care of this stuff for me? Arimura suddenly bowed to the other two. They seemed about to say something, then they must have seen the detective and thought better of it.
後で連絡する。
We'll text you later. They left. No trigger on it? Hmm.
少し非常識じゃないですか。
Isn't this a little unreasonable? Her voice sounded different, like someone had flipped a switch inside her. Trigger on. Is this where they get into a car?
それで今日はどんな事件です？
Yeah, it's where she's a detective. Alright, we've seen this one before. I'm gonna skip it. She's a secret detective, right?
ヒカリオのホールで明日から行われる宝石店に予告状が届けられた。
Yeah, we have to actually do this one positively. Alright, it's gonna skip it. Where we're like, he couldn't have taken that picture. What is this delusion? Kansuki looked from her game. She'd been ignoring all
渡部の
this.
記事の画像適当にプリントアウトしてくれ
Print out images from Watabe's article. Ito took them and stood in front of the board. He started to put them up. His face still red. He glared at the images as he looked for a spot to put them.
ほら早く動画を確認しろよ
Come on, check the video. Oh, whatever. He thinks he's fooling me like that. I'll let him think it. What is this delusion? And have we seen it? I felt sick.
サムネイルは飛ばしてくれ
Skip past the
オッ
thumbnail.
ケー。私もやだもん。
Okay, I don't like it either. Just skip past the image of the cinema stickers and started to scroll through the comments. There were a lot of different types of comments. Some were claiming Watabe ripped us off. Some saying all sorts of horrible things. Very few discussing the actual video. There weren't the comments I were interested. These weren't the comments I was interested.
あ、メール来た。
Alright, this is the one where we got the email from Kay. Yeah, we've seen this one. Alright, skipping. He's gonna be a little papega and drop his phone. Alright. Positive. I'm positive we've seen this one, right? There's like 12 chapters, so we probably aren't getting to this. Alright, first one. Positive delusion. Her expression changed. Seemed like she was having trouble. What's going on? Did she want some help? I need to get back to the council room. It was incredibly rare for Katsuki to actually come to me for help. It wouldn't be right to ignore her. Think positive thoughts.
わかったよ。
I guess I don't have a choice. No way. Did Kazuki grin? That was something you almost never saw.
それでどこへ行くんだ？
Faintly hoped something incredible was about to happen. Kazuki grabbed my sleeve and started walking. He took me to the roof of the school.
Help me.
Alright. I suddenly heard a girl's voice. Help me. I looked around and only the two of us were here. I guess I was just imagining it.
Help me.
Help me. Is this the one where our character is the chosen one? I think that's the case. No, I wasn't imagining it. I really did hear it. I looked around again. There was no one here but Kazuki, and there was no place for anyone to hide, which meant...
もしかして、今の、和樹、
Was that
お
you,
前か？
Kazuki?
お前喋れたの
You
か？
could talk. Of course, I mean, I know she could talk, but it was just really surprising,
で
alright?
もどうしていきなり
But why? Now, all of a sudden.
Help me, Takuru Miyashiro. You are my only hope.
Help me, Takuru Miyashiro. You're my only hope. Oh, we're quoting Star Wars.
は？
Why was she speaking English? Could Kazuki not speak Japanese? Maybe she grew up outside the country? Maybe that's why she never talked, but her English didn't seem very good. Suddenly, a loud fanfare played. Where's that sound coming from? As I looked around frantically, giant words appeared in the sky and started to scroll. A long time ago in a galaxy. It's the Star Wars part to start. Alright,
行きましょう。
let's go. Alright, skipping that one. All I see are breasts. Stay positive, everyone. Stay positive. Something you saw all the time in anime. Anyway, I need to go do something about this. Kazuki is so light, though. Well, she's not really tall. She had a pretty good body, so actually, wait, but what if someone saw us? No, I need to do something. But part of me wanted to enjoy the sensationalism more. This is where she falls on top of us or some shit, right? No, definitely not
ほ
that
ら
way.
和樹、とにかくそこどいて。
Come on, Kazuki, move. Wait a second. Is that my voice? Oh, this is where they swap bodies.
変だな。なんか喉の調子が。
This is where they swap bodies. We did the positive one for this already. 3, 2, 1, skip. Does this one start with... No?
いえ、
I think we've seen the positive of this too. No idea? That was the only thing I could think of. Seeing the way she acted today, it was hard to believe it was the same girl. Which is the real her. Maybe what I was imagining was the real her. And the reason she brought me here must be illusion time.
宮代先輩っていい声してますよね。
Oh, this is where we have her. This is where she has us record yaoi voices, right? We're doing some yaoi voice acting for her.
そう
Do I?
です
Do I?
か。
I have a great voice. No one's ever told me that before.
実は私昔から声フェチなんですよ。
Actually, I have a voice fetish. Fetish, whatever. Voice fetish. It's really none of my business.
宮代先輩の声って十分腐女子の干渉に耐えられるクオリティだと思うんで
Your
す。
voice's quality definitely lives up to my standards. Quality?
そうかな。
That's it.
マニアックな私が言うんですから。
I'm really into that
そう
stuff. I
です
know.
というわけで先輩。
So I want you to read something
今から
just
こ
for
こで
me.
私のためだけに朗読してください。
It's only fair. We've done a bunch of semi-lewd things for guys. Now it's time for this weird Arimura fantasy. Read something.
文芸部の活動の一環でもあるんですけど、宮代先輩にぜひとも。
It's part of the literature club's activities, and you're the perfect guy for it. It was hard to say no after all those compliments.
その
What do you want
何
me
を
to?
読めばいいんですか。
ですね。
It's
それは。
blushing. She took out a notebook.
じゃじゃ
Ta-da!
ーん。これを。
It looked like a normal student notebook. There was nothing on the cover. I flipped it open. It was only on the first page, and already I was looking at a whole different world. Two pretty boys drawn in the style of a girl's manga were holding each other, mostly naked. It was drawn in pencil, and the illustration wasn't that great. There was even a dialogue bubble. Pierce me with your Excalibur. This is... I don't understand. Did Arimura draw this?
これ私が文芸部で本を作る時用のネタ帳なんですけどね。やっぱ実際に男子に声に出してもらった方がイメージ湧くでしょ。
This is my idea of book for when we write stuff in literature club, but having a real boy say these things aloud will make it easier for me to visualize. You know.
いや、そんなの僕には。
おねがいお願いします。
Please, please.
無理です。
I can't.
どうしてもダメですか？
Be sure there's no one else I
こん
can
なこと
ask.
他に頼める男子がいなくて。女子の友達は多い。
I have a lot of girlfriends, but I don't do well around
でも
guys.
先輩が嫌なら無理強いはできないですよね。
I guess I can't force you, can I?
有村さん。
Arimura. If she was really relying on me, I couldn't turn her down.
わかりました。
Just a little.
少しだけなら。
本当ですか？
Really?
ありがとうございます。
She smiled happily. Now that I'd actually talked to her, I realized she was a strange person, but not a bad one.
どこを読めば？
So, which part do I read?
最初からおなしゃす。
Start from the beginning, please.
最初から？
From the beginning. She wanted me to read this aloud?
感情たっぷりにおなしゃす。
With as much emotion as you can muster.
エロい感じでおなしゃす。
As dirty as you can make it. Could I do that? I took a deep breath to calm myself down. Arimura was looking at me with stars in her eyes. It was embarrassing. I couldn't tell her to look away. I guess I'll just have to do it.
そのまま僕に突き刺して。君のエクスカリバー。
I love the background for that. It's hilarious. Arimura's face went bright red. She started to pant, snort, and bang her head. This was tougher than I thought. Mentally, I didn't know if I could do it. I wanted to get away as soon as possible.
もういいよね。
That's enough, right?
ちょっと待って。次のページもお願いできませんか？
The next page, the next page. Can you read the next page too? The next page. I flipped the page. There was a similar picture and dialogue bubble.
ささ。
Come on, come on.
お前のアイスキャンディー。俺の中でとろけさせてくれよ。
Melt your ice pop inside me. Dialogue.
Yes, yes.
Well, she said that in English, alright. Yes, what?
次おなしゃす。
Next, please. I give up.
いや、やめろよ。この鬼畜巨根野郎。
Stop it, you big dick freak.
あ
Arimura had a look of ecstasy on her face. It looked like she was on drugs.
先輩最高です。
You're wonderful. You're the
本当にエロ
sexiest.
いっす。私
I can't. And then her whole body started to spasm. A bit of drool was dripping out of the side of her mouth, and she didn't try to wipe it up.
こんな興奮したの
I've never
初
been
め
so
てです。
excited.
先輩これから定期的に朗読会やってもらえませんか？
Can you do readings for me once in a while from now?
次は攻めの方のバージョンも聞いてみたいんです。
Next time I want to hear something even smuttier.
それと今度は
I'll bring some
文
friends
芸
from
部
the
の
club who
同
are
じ
into the
趣味
same
を持
thing.
つ人たちも連れてきます。大丈夫。
Don't worry, they're all girls. I'm sure they'll fall in love with your
き
voice.
っとみんな先輩の声にメロメロになりますから。ね、
It's
いいで
okay,
しょ？
right?
いい
Right?
ですよね。
A weird delusion, to be sure. And that's how my career as a voice actor in gay porn for girls began. Well, I just got an achievement. What's this? Discovered Hine Arimura's chapter. Looks like we're officially on the Hine Arimura train. If that happened, I'd kill myself. If that was our only secret, that'd be fine. Well, not fine. Like the real Arimura was hiding something more dangerous. So, now I need to know is... Do I have to read from here onwards, or is there a point where it actually changes and diverges? I'm not quite clear. Do I go through the entire book from here, looking for divergences? I'm not quite sure whether what I do for that. It says you can ignore the divergence FRO tables when skip mode. I don't know what they mean there. Is that where it splits, or do I need to read the whole thing? It's set to skip is set to read only, so in theory we just keep going until we get to like chapter 6, I think. Let's see. I'm gonna save again. We're officially on her route. I don't know what they mean because it's not quite clear to me either. Or like the Hannah route, they don't even have. Hannah's route starts after 6-1 like Hine's route. Okay, so it looks like Hine's route officially starts after 6. After a section 6. So we're gonna skip to chapter 6, I guess. How badly does this one go if it goes bad? We've seen the positive of this. I want to see what happens if it goes poorly. Nora. You haven't seen this one, so I think I'm gonna do this. Hey, stop screwing around and sleep, girls. Why do girls like to touch you so much? It's not like you guys are lovers. Stop. Yeah, it was Yuri Fest for positive. So what happens if we're doing this? Me and Ito right beside you. Don't forget that. Trigger on. Heavy breathing. Does Ito get dragged into it and we get left alone? Shocked by Ito? Heavy breathing. The only sound in the dark room was their panting. It was enough to drive me crazy listening to it, and then, as I pretended to sleep, I felt someone's warm hand on my crotch. It's a bad one. It's a bad one. Is this Ito? I almost jumped and screamed, but there was a hand across my mouth. It's a bad one. Who was it? Was it Kazuki or Sarika? No, it's Ito. I'm vetting Ito. Sarika was the one who'd been trying to touch Kazuki a moment ago. So was it Sarika? Was she touching my crotch? Was that the kind of person who was? It's a negative delusion only in the context of our character. I'm guessing it's a negative delusion in the context of our character because he wants to think he's straight. That the kind of person she was? No, wait, I was a high school kid now. I couldn't stay a child forever. But could she really be so bold? If Ito found out about this every trouble. I wanted to say something, but I couldn't. I didn't resist. I just closed my eyes and let time pass. The hands were still at my mouth and crotch. Should I accept her bold invitation? But this was... Heard panting in my ear. Must be Sarika getting excited. Sarika was getting excited? Sarika's over there, buddy.
Miyashiro.
I said it was... I said it was gonna be Ito. It's supposed to be a negative for him. He just starts screaming. Imagine you just start screaming no. Ugh. The nightmare was so horrible I woke up screaming. Taku, what's wrong?
なんだなんだ
What's
どう
wrong?
した
Oh,
いや
no. Oh no. I came to my senses and looked around. I realized everyone else must have fallen asleep. They were all rubbing their eyes as if they're sleepy. But was that really the case? Was I really dreaming about someone rubbing my crotch? Was it possible Ito was just pretending to be asleep? Imagining that made me shiver. I had to stop thinking about it. I had to pretend it never happened.
あっていうかそろそろ0時じゃね
And then we transition into K's broadcast, right?
Huh?
Yep. Alright. Back to fast forwarding. Oh, we haven't seen this? Ito stood up and started to fiddle with the club's PC. Yeah, we're back to skipping. Alright, here we go. Scanning, scanning, scanning. I looked up at the building. Do I just press positive for fun? Lights were on the room at the end of the living room on the 3rd floor, which meant she was awake. I'd known she would be, but I couldn't help but sigh. That was the end of my last hope. After Sarika had answered the phone, she'd handed it to me without saying a word. Just like I expected, her voice was calm. Both me and Sarika and Ito knew from experience that meant she was angry. Positive thoughts, buddy. She told me to come home immediately in a flat, emotionless voice. I couldn't even make any excuses. I've been hoping she'd be asleep when I got back, but now I realized there was no chance of that. I didn't know for certain she wanted to talk about what happened today. It might be about something else. Positive thoughts. Positive thoughts.
クルス
Chris, it's me.
タクル
Takuru, you
来てくれた
did
の
come.
ね。
Come in.
入って
I came inside and Cruz welcomed me from the
お
bed.
かえり
Welcome back.
ちょっと待って
Hold on a second. Cruz started to rummage through something under the blankets. She was gonna get mad. I'd prefer if she got mad now. Right now, it felt like I was sitting on a bed of nails. It was hellish.
あのさ今日呼び出したのってやっぱり
Is what happened today the reason you wanted to talk to me? As I spoke, Cruz stood up.
なんで脱いでるんだ
Where are your clothes? It's the closest we'll get. I don't think there's any erotic scenes in this game. She wasn't even wearing underwear. But if she'd been lying down this whole time, it would make sense if she wasn't dressed. But wait, that wasn't the issue.
背中を拭いてもらおうと思って
I wanted you to wipe down my back. Oh, here we
も
go.
しかして呼び出したのって
Is
その
that
た
why
め
you
か
called me?
ごめんね
Sorry, is that a
迷
bother?
惑だった
あそのいやなんていうか
For all the thirsty people. There you go. 1, 2, 3. Done. No, well, it didn't make sense. Carissa wasn't usually like this. I wasn't sure how to handle it now that she was acting this way.
ユイやユードに頼めばいいのに
Could have just asked you.
タクルに甘えたくなっちゃったのかも
Maybe I decided that I wanted you to do.
こういう時ぐらいいいでしょ
These are special circumstances. It's okay. Have we had this shot already? I feel like new shots. I think we've had that shot already, yeah. She wanted me to do that. That's a really weird thing for me to say. Do
絶対変だ熱でもあるんじゃないのか
you have a fever or something?
恥ずかしがることなんてない
There's
の
nothing to be
に
embarrassed about.
何年か前タクルが熱出して寝込んだ時に私いろいろやってあげたじゃない
When you got a fever and couldn't get out of bed all those years ago, I did all kinds of things for you.
いろいろって
All kinds of things?
下の世話だってした
I
よ
took care
ね
of you down there, too. Cruz giggled a little. I hadn't heard anything about her having a fever, so why was she acting this way?
タクルの体のことな
You're in
ら
fantasy land.
私何でも知ってる
I know everything there is to know about
兄
your
弟
body.
なんだからそれは普通
We're
のこ
brother
と
and
でしょ
sisters. That's normal, right? Japan. I know they're not actually blood related, but Japan, come on. Was that normal?
お願い
Please,
タクル
Takuru.
今日だけでいいから
Just for today.
甘えさせてよ
Spoil.
わかったよ
あ
Fine.
りがとう
Thank you. It was still embarrassing that I couldn't bring myself to look at her. When does he break out of this delusion? Takuru, don't look
目を
away.
そらさないで
Don't look away. My heart skipped a beat.
それっ
What do
て
you mean?
どういう。
私の全部をタクルに今からさらけ出すから。
At what point is this going to break? I'm curious. I'm going to expose all my secrets to you now. I gulped loudly. Her face was bright red. Did she have a fever after all, or?
クルスだって恥ずかしがってるじゃないか。
You're embarrassed too, aren't you, Cruz?
変よね。
It's weird, isn't it?
思ったよりずっと恥ずかしい。
It's more embarrassing than I thought. To be honest, I wanted to run away as soon as I could, but I just said I would do it. I couldn't betray Cruz when she was this weak.
見るよ。
I'm gonna look.
嬉しい。
Makes me happy. Sounds like someone's lying here. One of you, either you're lying about wanting to leave, or never mind. All right, cool. I look straight at her body. Yep. Well, I guess they're giving us panning shot anyway. All right, done. Done. Okay.
何か
Why don't you say something?
言ったら？
She was beautiful, but I couldn't bring myself to say that.
それじゃあタクルお願いしていい？
Okay, Takuru, will you do it?
え？
Wait, this
お願い
is literally for like. Do
だ
it.
から
Do it. I
体を
want you to
拭いてほしいんだけど。
wipe down my body. Didn't she get stabbed recently? Hold up. She got stabbed recently, but there's no like bandages on her. What happened? Didn't she get like seriously stabbed? I mean, I know it. It might have been on left side. I can't remember if it was left or right side though. That's right, I'd
そこに
forgotten.
タオルあるから。
There's a towel there. She already had a towel and a bowl of hot wet already. I wet the towel and got closer to Cruz.
前
Seriously? Do I show for the
から
front? Or the
後ろから
back? She fidgeted. It was really cute to see Cruz acting this way. Remember stab wound? Stab wound, buddy? Dude?
前も拭いてくれるの？
You could wipe down my front side too?
え？
Cruz didn't need me to wipe down her front side. She could do it herself.
いやだって
No, I mean-
ずっとこっち向いてるから。
You've been facing this way the whole time. I was panicking more than usual. Oh no.
ごめん。
I'm sorry, you wanted me to wash your back,
繋が
right?
ったよね。
いいよ
It's fine.
え？
What? She looked straight at me.
いいよ。
It's okay. What was okay? No, I didn't need to ask. I gulped again and looked back at her. Her pale skin was slightly slick with sweat. Her breasts were large, firm, and round. Her hips formed a smooth curve. She looked like a statue of Venus. I never realized Carissa was so pretty. I wanted to touch her body, and she looked so soft. Her skin looked so clear. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't turned on. But more than anything, I wanted to touch it because it belonged to Carissa, and I'm just thinking about how she gets killed in like 2 chapters. I wanted to touch her beautiful body because it was hers. I reached out my hand towards Carissa's neck, not the one with the towel, but the empty one, and ran my fingertips softly down the side of it. When does this delusion get shattered? Alright, Chuck. When does the delusion get shattered?
なんでそんなところ。
Why are you touching me there? You said back. It's hard to tell what... At what point does your back become your neck, become your head? Her body shook a little. It was indescribably cute. Carus was always the big sister, bossing me around, telling me what to do. And now she's squirming under my touch. It felt good, like I'd made her my own.
クルス。
Cruz, I want to have my way. What? I want to have my way with you some more. She just says okay. That's not even in character for Cruz. She nodded, embarrassed.
あなたの
Do whatever you want to.
好きにして。
There we go. Cruz, I will not stop tickling you until you apologize. That is how we transition out. Good transition, by the way. I was trying too hard to escape from reality. If I was imagining Cruz in a situation like that, I must be under more stress than I thought. When I went inside, she was sitting on the bed waiting for me.
傷に触るだろ。ちゃんと寝てないと。
You need to lie down or it'll open up your wound again, right?
また警察に連れて行かれたって聞いたんだけど。
I heard you had to go down to the police station again. Cruz cut me off. Her voice was calm and level. Normally it would have been a relief, but in Cruz's case, they made me more scared. See?
この情報に間違いはないわね。
And there we go. I looked over. Wait, have we seen the positive of this already? I don't remember if we've seen the positive or negative. I'm gonna go with negative. I saw something strange in the corner of the room. Best way to describe it would be to call it a sword. I wasn't sure if most people saw it would think that. The design is complicated and frankly unrealistic. For some reason, looking at it made me feel uneasy. It made me feel really bad, actually. What's that? If someone told me it was for cosplay, I'd probably believe them. If nothing else, it didn't match the image I have of the person in front of me. Not the Kei I knew from Shibuya News, or the Kunosada who'd been swearing at me the whole night. She maybe had a third identity. Maybe she was a famous cosplayer, or maybe a toy artisan who made life-size weapons. Maybe an otaku who collected swords like this. Either way, it felt a bad idea to mention it. Best to just ignore it. Best to pretend I never saw it.
Miyashiro.
Miyashiro.
Eh?
What?
その件が気になるのか?
Are you interested in that sword? Kunosada brought it up, and I was trying my hardest to ignore it.
いや、
Not really.
別に。
I tried my best to laugh and avoid looking at it. Come on, don't make me talk about this with you. I knew it was going to end badly. Kunosada took off the blade with a calm look on her face. She swung it around and assumed a fighting stance. Her moves graceful and beautiful. For a moment, I fell in love. This sword was the perfect weapon for her. I didn't know why, but that's how it seemed. She swung the sword right in front of my eyes. I could hear the sound of it cutting through the wind. No. I could see some of my bangs falling to the ground. It was incredibly sharp. If it touched me, it would slice me in half. It would tear me apart. I gulped.
お前たちを。
I brought you here.
お前をここに連れてきたの。
I brought you here for a
他
reason.
でもな。口封じのためだ。
To keep you from talking.
Huh?
What?
私は内閣特殊調査室のスーパーエージェント久野里美代。コードネームは青の剣士。
I'm Mio Kunosada, a super agent, working with the Japanese Cabinet Special Investigation Team. My code name, Azure Swordsman.
お前は今渋谷で進行中の極秘プロジェクトについて知ってしまった。
You've learned too much about the secret project going on in Shibuya right now.
ゆえに生かしてはおけないんだ。
So, I cannot let you live.
許せ。
Forgive me. What? Kunosada took a step forward, moving as if she were about to begin a dance. It only took an instant.
タク、
Taku.
あれ、私。
A splurt of blood burst from Sarika's chest and she fell over. Oh, no. What just happened? I hadn't even seen Kunosada swing her sword.
全員
None of you will be allowed to live,
返さん。
leave here alive. Oh boy.
呪うなら
Don't blame,
自分の運命を呪え。
blame your fate. No, don't do it.
やめてくれ。
Ito screamed and fell, blood pouring from his chest. I still couldn't see it. The sword moved so fast. So this was power. This was the power of the super agent, the Azure Swordsman. Kunosada turned towards me. I only had a few seconds left to live, but for some reason, as she held the blade that killed Sarika and Ito, Kunosada seemed so beautiful.
お前が見ている景色は本物ではない。
What you're seeing isn't real.
世界はすべて
This whole world is an
エラ
error.
ーだ。
Those are the last things Kunosada said to me. And dead. Then everything went black. Maybe it was a small mercy of hers I didn't feel any pain. What? Wait, what? You're in your last year of high school? The hell are you thinking? Sure, any Japanese boy who grew up on manga fantasizes about that, but it's all tropes and cliches. If it had gotten launched in a magazine, it would have been canceled over 10 weeks. I blame the sword just sitting there in the corner. Stupid sword. Any boy who saw that sword would remember its dark history. Anyway, there's no time to be thinking about that sword.
ケイさん、俺マジファンなんす。声聞いてるだけで超癒されるっつうか。
Okay, I'm seriously a fan of yours. Just listening to your voice makes me feel better.
そんなことはどうでもいい。
Don't care. As I sat there fantasizing, Kunosada was tearing apart Ito's hopes and dreams. Apparently we can't skip this. He was having a hard time.
それよりお前。
More importantly, you. Huh?
お前だ、宮代拓郎。
Takuru.
いちい
Stop
ち
acting
聞き
so
返すな。
bewildered all the time.
はい。
Right. What is
な
it?
んでしょう。
Crap, she's really scary. Was the K I loved only an image I'd created for myself? And this girl was who she really was? Kunosato stood by the wall and glared at me, oblivious to how I felt.
お前は何の能力者だ？
What's your power? Chapter 6, Their Resistance. She appeared before us. A woman. It was a woman with a strange presence. If we'd been on what should be these typically crowded streets, I doubt I would have noticed her. But on this empty street, it was impossible to miss. Her long hair covered most of her face, and with the street light to her back, I couldn't read her expression at all. But I could see the strange, hungry light that shone from her eyes through thick hair that otherwise concealed her features. It was a dark light, one that somehow brought a deeper blackness, not illumination.
先輩
Arimura's voice was shaking. She'd realized how strange the woman was, too. And then... my eyes met hers. The next instant... she laughed, or so it seemed to me. Her laugh was empty, but at the same time somehow satisfied. It was a laugh like evil itself, and it was like nothing I'd ever heard before in my life. And then, in a raspy, unpleasant voice, she spoke. We still can't see her if her eyes are red, if she's being mind controlled. Found you. Eyes. Let me see the eye. Oh yeah, we don't see the eyes until the end of this scene, right? This girl's bad news. She's bad news. Run away. Cross the street. Do literally anything. Alarm bells went off in my head. Bad. This is bad. Really bad. Yeah, bad. My knees started to buckle. My instincts told me she was dangerous. Arimura was staring at the woman, not moving a muscle. No, she probably couldn't have moved, even if she wanted to. It's like we're paralyzed.
先輩
That woman, she is...
あの人
Arimura barely got out the words.
能力者
I think she's a psychic. A psychic? I didn't want to admit it, but just looking at the woman in front of me was enough to dash all my hopes. Psychics are real. This woman. Her very existence was enough to make me believe.
Arimura.
Arimura.
なんですか
What is it?
あの女の能力ってのはどんな
What's her power? I didn't know about any of the Gigglomaniac's powers besides Arimura's. But from what I'd seen before, some of them were a lot more dangerous than the ability to tell when someone was telling the truth. There had to be more types, for instance, ones that could be used as weapons. There was no doubt in my mind this woman had that sort of power.
こんなことならちゃんと調べておくべきだった
If I known this was going to happen, I would have done more research. Even know more. It didn't matter whether I believed or not. How could I not have the information I needed at a time like this?
有村
そんなの私にもわかりません
I don't know either.
テレパシーなのかプレコグニションなのかクレアボヤンスなのか
Could be telepathy. Could be precognition. It could be clairvoyance. But Arimura's eyes were fixed on a single point. She probably couldn't look
あ
away.
の人の能力はもっと危険な
I think her power is more dangerous. Her power is something
人に害を与える力だ
that
と
can hurt people. I mean, telepathy can hurt people, as we've seen. The woman started walking sluggishly towards us, slowly. I finally realized the reason she seemed to be off balance as she walked was that she was dragging one leg. Maybe she'd injured it, or maybe it never worked right. She approached us one step at a time, as if enjoying our fear. She took another step. A horrible smile frozen on her face. Her eyes were looking straight at us as if she didn't want to let her prey escape.
逃げなきゃダメだ
I have to get out of here. But my body wouldn't move. My body turned to stone as if I'd been stared at by Medusa. And suddenly, the wind blew. The woman's long hair flew up, and I could see just a little of her face. Arimura gasped. The woman had been terribly burnt, and her eyes also aren't red. They're blue. It looks like she's not, at least not resisting or under any serious mind control. Her face was covered in horrible burn scars. The smile disappeared from her face. Instead, it was replaced by rage. There was nothing there but burning rage and the color of anger. She slowly brought her hands up and pushed them out towards us. I like it, so it says, she says senpai and it says Miyashiro. Nice translation, team. Arimura screamed and pulled at my hand as hard as she could. Nice translation. A pillar of flame sprung up right where I was standing. There was a blast of heat and the awful stink of burning asphalt. A burning pain ran down through my cheek as the heat struck it. What was that? Pyrokinesis. Oh boy, we're in trouble. She waved her arm, and the next moment, the space in front of me was a sea of crimson flames. Arimura and I tried our best to get away from the fire. Pyrokinesis? I knew that meant the ability to create fire. If I remembered right, it was a word created by a famous novelist. All over the world, there were historical records of unexplained fires breaking out for no clear reason. Spontaneous human combustion, where a human body would suddenly burst into flame, was one form those incidents took. Of course, spontaneous human combustion was considered pseudoscience, as most scientists believed those incidents were actually caused by static electricity or EM waves. And now, real pyrokinesis was happening right in front of me. Sure, what are you doing? What are you doing? Just standing there. What? The next thing I knew, the woman was stretching her arms out towards me. I rolled along the ground with Arimura at almost the exact same moment the fire exploded outwards. The smell of burning hair stung my nostrils. Oh, my hair! No time to worry about that. We kept moving away, only barely dodging the burning flames. Pillar after pillar of fire appeared between us. It looked like the flames had spread to a bike and some garbage that were lying by the roadside, but I didn't have time to check. The woman was getting closer, dragging her leg as she walked.
Arimura!
I tried to grab her hand and run, but... Just run! Just run! A fire appeared in front of both of us, and as we tried to dodge it, we both lost our balance and fell to the ground. The planter next to us was on fire. I looked up as the footsteps got closer and saw the woman was right on top of us. She's gonna kill us. She's gonna kill us. That was what was going through my mind as I lay there frozen in terror. This wasn't an anime or a movie. This was reality. The pain from where I'd hit my leg when I fell, the pain from the burns, all these flames, the smell of melted asphalt. It was all real. Kunosato said the Gigalomaniac's power came from delusions, and not just any delusions. These delusions affected the brains of others, and through being shared, became reality.
物理現象すらねじ曲げるんだよ。ギガロマニアックスの妄想と、それによって共通認識化された現実は。
The delusions of the Gigalomaniacs and the shared reality they create are capable of altering the physical world
だか
itself.
らこそ、それはこの上なく危険なんだ。
And that's what makes them so dangerous. Yes, and because of that, impossible pyrokinesis was happening right in front of me, and that power was going to kill me and Arimura. Delusional flames would become reality, and in that reality we were going to be burnt to death. Oh, there we go, the red eyes that are bleeding. Mind control's been turned on and up to 11. The woman slowly pointed her hands towards us. Maybe I was imagining it, but the air around me seemed to grow hotter.
Yeah.
I don't want to die. I don't want to be roasted to death by these flames. I don't want to die. I still don't want to die. A bigger spiral of flame than any we'd seen before appeared before us, but at the same time, something strange appeared in the corner of my eye. Frighteningly sharp, but frighteningly fragile, infinite and finite. Phantasmal and real. Like all the ugliness and beauty in the world had been compressed into one object. It was a D-sword. It was clearly a different shape than Arimura's, but still I could see it. But since I didn't know how to draw it, I just desperately struck the woman with every delusion I could muster. I imagined the sword slicing through her flames, and flung the image at her with my imagination. The burning fangs that threatened to engulf the two of us exploded. And then the fire danced like a snake. It flew in a straight line towards the woman who created it. The fire turned into a spiral that leapt at her. She fell over in shock. Sure, what was that? Was that my power? While I hadn't been looking, the D-sword had vanished from my vision. Let's get out of here! Wait, they don't say this. The pyrokinetic disappears. Alright, looks like we found our first change scene. Correctly found our first change scene. By the way, both these bright colored sprites, I believe, are both new. I don't recall her ever being illuminated by fire before. What are you doing? Hurry! While I hesitated, Arimura ran past the woman toward the street. The woman slowly stood up. Damn. I ran after Arimura before the woman could get up. I ran down many different alleyways and turned on several corners. I didn't even know where I was anymore. I just kept running, sure that if I turned back, the woman would be behind me. She's crippled, man. Just run and get around a corner. One corner is fine. I ran. Like, you literally could have walked away, bro. Alright, and ran. And ran. And then... True world. Where's Arimura? Where did Arimura go? How could she run away and leave me behind? Dude, it's a cripple, man. Like, you didn't have to put a lot of effort into running to escape. Damn it. What the hell's wrong with that woman? Why did we, me, have to go through this? Was it because I'd been investigating the case? Maybe... You're going to be killed, Takuru Miyashiro. Maybe I should have listened to Arimura's warning. Maybe I should have dropped the case right then and there. Back then, I never thought the killer would come after me. I wasn't trying to catch them. I just thought it was interesting. We were only following the case because it was fun. Damn it. Was that just how the real world worked? I hadn't done anything wrong. I'd just been doing this for fun. Is that enough to justify killing me? Killing me? If she killed me, I'd die. We have it. We have it, ladies and gentlemen. People die when they are killed. If she kills me, I'll die. If I die, I cease to exist. That one's not as straightforward. Yes, people die when they are killed. If she killed me, I'd die. I'd disappear. I'd be gone. I wouldn't be able to see anything, hear anything, say anything, eat anything. Everyone would make a fuss at first. Maybe someone would cry. But they wouldn't really mean it. They wouldn't do it for long. Before long, they'd all forget about me. Karus, Ito, Kazuki, Serika. I'd be all alone in an empty, dark world. No one would remember me. No. No, 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 no. Anything but that. I... Alright, he's still running. I heard a noise in front of me. Footsteps. Did she get ahead of me somehow? Seriously, dude. She was literally a cripple. You just had to get around one corner. Could I do it again if I had to? The way I dodged those flames, if that was what Arimura said was my power. But how? I knew I had to bring up the sword thing again. I didn't know how to do it though. It wasn't working. I've been able to do it before because I wasn't thinking about it. When I tried to do it now, the panic went out. Not only could I not use my powers, I couldn't even see the sword anymore. The footsteps kept getting closer. It was no good. I'd have to run. It was all I could do now. My mind knew I had to run, but my body, it wouldn't obey. My legs went numb. My heartbeat was deafening. The sweat pouring down my brow got into my eyes. Dude, it's not limping. It's not the lady. Like, listen to the footsteps. There's no dragging sound. Sweat pouring down my brow got into my eyes, and I didn't even know where I was running anymore. The footsteps from behind gradually got closer. They were almost on top of me, right around that corner. So close. And look, she's right there. Wait. It's Arimura, right? You didn't even look. God. Stay away, stay! Don't go any closer! Oh my god, he's panicking again. We're back to panicky Takuru. I forgot how much fun it was watching him look like an idiot. Wait, it's me! I flailed my arms and legs out at my attacker who screamed in a surprisingly cute voice. This guy, man. His dumb shit panics are so funny sometimes. It's just like, anything happens. Panic, panic, panic! Although the background would say dank. The background says dank, so maybe we're supposed to do something dank. Alright. That's some dank memes. Alright. You're safe, huh? That's right. Senpai's safe. Shh, don't scare me like that. I'm the one who got scared. You just screamed all of a sudden. He did just randomly scream. It's because I thought you were the woman. He's not even being absurd. Wait. I thought you were the woman. And wait, what are you doing here? You ran off and left me. Why are you still here? That's what I'm asking. Why did you run the same direction I did? She might have come after me now. Wait a minute, were you planning on using me as a decoy? It wasn't a plan or anything, it's just how things ended up, yeah. Why, you... I don't know about that. I bet you really... Shh. There's no way she's behind you. No way. Arimura suddenly put her hand across my mouth before I could say another word. I was about to complain, but when I saw the look on her face, I shut up and listened. There we go, that's the sound. There was no doubt about it. This sound. This time it really was that one. We definitely didn't have a second encounter with her. She's throwing fire again. There was an explosion and a shockwave in the air struck me in the face. I could smell something burning within the black smoke that covered my vision, and beyond it, the woman with the empty eyes. Why does this keep happening to me? I knew that. I knew that, but what was I supposed to do?
こうなったら一か八か
I'll try to have...
もう一度あの
I
力
just have to try and use my power again.
できるんですか？
Can you do it?
わからない
I don't know.
でも
I don't have a
やるしか
choice.
ないだろう
I forced my shaking legs to turn toward the woman. Her eyes were still empty as she stared at me. But I couldn't sense anything in them at all. I couldn't tell what she was thinking or why she was doing this. But I could tell her eyes were looking at me. She was after me. Please. Just one more time. One more time. Focus. Focus. Give me the power.
先輩、
Mishira.
いや
先輩。
Mishira?
やっぱり無理だできないどうしよう
I
アリム
can't do it. What do we do, Arimura?
今さらそんなこと言わないでくださいよ。
Don't tell me that now.
だってこういう時こそ火事場のなんとかでどうにかできるかもと思ったんだよ
I thought your powers were just supposed to activate when things got really bad. Maybe things weren't that easy after all.
ていうかお前の力でどうにかな
Wait,
らないのか
can't you use your power to do something? She tells if people are lying. What? No! I can't! Shit! I can see the woman raising her hand slowly out of the corner of my eye. This was not good. At this distance, if I got hit with those flames, it was going to be really, really hot. No, hotter than hot. I could be burned to death. Even if I didn't die, I'd be badly burned. There was no way I'd be okay. I need to find a way to run. But how? A spiral of orange light was forming in the woman's hand. Oh. Did this mean I was going to die? Was I going to die now? Did dying always feel so unreal? The woman was right on top of us now. A massive whirlpool of flame had formed around her hands. And she slowly turned her hands towards us. Huh? And then there was a sudden strange sound as the flames flowed backwards and struck her in the face. She flailed back and fell to her knees. I looked behind me and saw Arimura was holding a can of hairspray. Arimura might not have expected it to do much, but it worked better than she could have possibly imagined. Arimura! Hairspray and fire, that is a brave combination. Arimura was staring at shock at what had just happened, but there wasn't time for that. The woman was slowly starting to look up at us. Arimura's counterattack had made her angry. If she came after us again, we'd be dead, but before that happened...
逃げるぞ有村
We're getting out of here, Arimura! What? I picked up the spray can at my feet and flung it at our attacker, then grabbed Arimura by the hand and ran towards the strange woman. You must not have expected that because fortunately we didn't hear footsteps right away. For now, we need to lose her and get somewhere safe where we can hide. But the only place we could hide around here was there. If she found that place, no. Now wasn't the time to worry about that. I'd have to chance it.
先輩、どこへ？
Where are we going?
こっちだ
This way. Nerve hairspray. Sure.
先輩、
Or sorry, senpai. What?
私、もう無
I
理。
can't go on. Okay, I'm looking at the graffiti on the walls. Is it just me, or is all the graffiti in English and none of it in Japanese? Like, it says, like, outrage, boss, PC, VAP, JG, outrage, rush, death, easy, but no Japanese. Red, love, fatter, world. Anyway. What happened to all the courage you had a moment ago? What are you talking about? We're almost there.
もうちょっと頑張れよ
Keep going.
そういう先輩こそ息上がってるじゃないですか。
You're out of breath too, though. Damn it, why'd you have to talk back at a time like this? If we give up here,
諦めたら死んでしまうかもしれない
we might die.
分かってるのか
Do you understand?
わかってるけど。
I do, but... What, you're tired? But Arimura was right, my heart was pounding so loud I thought it might burst. In manga and anime, you always gained incredible stamina in situations like this. Evidently, that didn't really happen, though. It was impossible for a human being to surpass their limits. Maybe I should have exercised more. Obviously, it's too late for that. Still, it didn't mean I could give up.
とにかく
Anyway,
もう少しだ
hang
け
in
頑張
there
れそうすれば
and
そうすれば
I didn't have the strength left to answer her question. It's just unusual to have all English graffiti here. There should be at least some Japanese graffiti, or at least I would think there is. I don't know what graffiti looks like in Japan, but you'd expect to see some in Japanese, right? Something in Japanese. I didn't have the strength left to answer her question. We just had to keep going. Even a big city like Shibuya had lots of tiny, overlapping little alleyways off the main streets. And this area is my home, which meant I had the advantage. It wouldn't be long before... I was right. I could hear sirens. Even in an alleyway, someone would have heard all that noise. If the police were here, that woman would have bigger problems than trying to track us down.
よし
Okay.
今のうちに
Now's our chance.
先輩
Mish,
こっちに
this way.
あちょっ
Wait, wait. I lowered my body to the ground and headed further into the darkness.
と先輩ここって
This is... At this point, I'd be able to find my way there blindfolded.
ねえ先輩ここは
Sure, this place is...
しまた待ってこの中
Alright,
へ
come inside. Calvin, come inside.
でも
But...
いいから早く
Hurry, hurry. We're at our trailer, right? Yeah. There we are. We listened carefully to the sounds around us as we caught our breaths. If we heard our footsteps, we'd recognize them immediately. We could hear the sound of police sirens in the distance. I hoped the police would catch her and take her away. We just stood there frozen in prayer as we waited for time to pass. 5 minutes, then 10. It wasn't long at all, but it felt like an eternity.
さすがにこれだけ待っても来ないならもう大丈夫だろう
She still hasn't come after us. We're probably okay now, right? I took a deep breath. All the tension drained from my body, and I slowly sat on the ground.
もう大丈夫でしょうか
Are we safe now? Arimura asked.
ああ多分
I think so.
そうですか
Anyway, that woman, was she the one behind the murders? And what was her connection to the facility under the hospital? Or was she acting on her own? There still wasn't enough information to tell.
先輩
Senpai?
何
What?
もうそろそろいいんじゃないかと
I think it's okay now.
だからもう大丈夫だってさっき言ったじゃないか
I said we're safe now, didn't I?
いえそういうことではなくてですねその手を
No, I mean my hand.
って
Your hand?
はいずっと握ったままなので
Yeah, you're still holding my hand.
Oh.
Oh. I've been so desperate to get away from the woman, I hadn't realized it, but it looked like I'd been holding Arimura's hand the whole time. It wasn't just her hand, she and I were incredibly close. The classic scream and run away. Alright, I quickly jumped back.
こんな暗いところに連れ込んでもしかして先
Is the reason you took me to a dark place like this? You want to...
言っておくがわざとじゃないから
It wasn't deliberate, I mean,
変な意味で逃げてたわけじゃないからな
輩わかってます先輩って見るからにそういうの得意じゃなさそうだし
なん
What
だと
did you say?
なんて言うのかなほら女の子慣れしてないっていうか
I don't know how to say it, you know, maybe you're not used to being around girls.
待て待て待て僕を見くびってもらっちゃ困るな言っとくけどこれでも僕はリア充だぞ
Whoa. Wait. Don't underestimate me. I'm a normal whether I look like it or not.
リア充
A
です
normal.
か
A normie. I'm gonna replace this with normie. I'm a normie. The term didn't seem to mean anything to her.
そうわかるリア充リアルが充実してるって意味いいかアリメロがどう思っているのか知らないけど 女の子の扱いについては僕はこれでも。
Yeah, you know, a normie. It means to have a happy, normal life. I don't know what you might think about me, but I know exactly how to act around a lady.
っていうか、何なんですか
Hey,
ここ
where are we?
人の話を聞けよ。
Listen to me. Arimura stood up and started to look around the dark room.
痛い
I kicked
なん
something.
か蹴っちゃった
おいおい、勝手に動き回って人の家の
Don't
中に
move
物を
around
壊す
and
んじゃ
destroy
ない。
my home.
家
Home?
そうだよ。ここは僕の家。わかるか？つまり今僕が住んでいるところという意味だ。
Right, this is my home. Do you know what that means? It means I live here. I live here, bitch. I decided it was probably safe now and turned on the lights.
へえ
Now that she could see, Arimura was looking around the room in surprise. She seemed a lot less on edge than usual, probably because she was pretty sure the woman wasn't going to come after us anymore.
喉乾いてるだろ。
You're probably thirsty, right? Yeah. Yeah, thirsty for... we'll see. I opened up the fridge and took out 2 plastic bottles and handed one to her.
ありがとうございます
Thanks. She opened the bottle and took a big swig of it. Oh my god.
ようやく生きてるって実感が湧いてきた。
I finally feel alive now, you know? Okay, I just want to imagine like this is like straight out of a Mountain Dew commercial or some shit, right? And remember, he's like obsessed with Mountain Dew, which is just knockoff Mountain Dew. Imagine, it's like, we finally escaped. Grabs a Mountain Dew, hands it to the girl, takes a swig. I finally feel alive. You know? Like, oh yeah, running for your life from a pyrokinetic what didn't make you feel alive, but the Mountain Dew drink. Holy shit. Mountain Dew is making this guy feel alive. I swear, we're not sponsored by PepsiCo. Alright.
なんですかこれ
What is this stuff?
マウンテンビューだよ。
I love Mountain Dew!
マウンテンビューは日本で一番カフェインの含有量が多くて、頭脳の覚醒作用を促すことに
It
おい
was Mountain Dew! I thought he'd give it her. I was hoping he would give her water. It's Mountain Dew. You haven't heard of it? The most highly caffeinated soft drink available in Japan. Acts to stimulate the brain.
うえ
She probably thought he was giving her a bottle of water. Oh man, Arimura ignored me even though I was in the middle of my lecture and grimaced with her mouth still full of Mountain Dew. Yeah, that stuff's super sugary if you're not expecting it. Evidently, she didn't like it.
ここってトレーラーハウスですか
Is this a trailer house?
いや、トレーラーハウスっていうのはある程度の期間一つの場所に定住するのを目的としたもので、どちらかというと車輪のついた家のことを言う。
No, a trailer house is specifically a vehicle intended to stay in one place most of the time. It's best thought of as a house with wheels.
それに比べてこの家は移動することを目的とした宿泊施設のついた車と考えるべきで、
This house
そうした場合はキャンピングカーといった方が
This
正し
house
い。
is more of a vehicle with living facilities attached. It's probably referred to as a camping car or camper.
ちなみに一言にキャンピングカーといっても、専用の車体を利用したフルコンとか、バンやボックスカーの内部を改装して居住空間を作ったバンコンなど、いろいろあって、この家の場合は、
So he's still going. He's still going. He's still going. What's more, there are several different types of camping cars, rated for ones that use special frames to converted vans and boxcars.
どうして先輩はこんな家に住んでるんですか
Why are you living in a place like this? Would you please let me finish? I need to finish my rant on the difference between a camper and a trailer house. Go, like, really, bro? Calm down. Please let me.
宮代先輩ってクルス先輩と兄弟っていうか確か弟さんでしたよね施設の
You're Cruz's little brother, right? From the orphanage?
あれはクルスが勝手に弟だって言ってるだけだよ。まあ、何年か同じ施設で育ったのは確かだけど。
That's what Cruz calls me. Well, we did live there together for several years. I would prefer if she didn't ask any more questions about that. If she asked, I'd have to tell her about what happened.
ふーんそうなんすね
I see. What?
そうなんすね。
Is that all? You're not gonna ask?
聞かないのか？
何をですか
Ask what? Oh, now you just
僕とクルスの関係とか、
me and Cruz
なんで
or
僕だけここで暮らしてるのか。
why I'm living here alone?
聞きませんよだって先輩聞かれたくないでしょ
No, you don't want me to, do you?
どうしてそう思う？
Why do you think
も
that?
しかして
Oh, maybe. Maybe it was her power?
残念ながら違います。私の能力はただその人の言葉が真実かどうかわかるだけで、相手が何を考えてるのかまではわかりませんから。
Unfortunately, that's incorrect. My power can only tell if someone's lying or not. It can't tell me what they're thinking. Then how did she know?
でもその代わりに人の気持ちっていうのに敏感になって、だからその人が何を考えてるかっていうのはなんとなくわかるようになっちゃ
I
ったん
see,
で
I
すよ
see.
ね。
Instead, I've become pretty sensitive to how people are feeling, and I can kind of figure out what a person is thinking.
もちろんそれもわかりやすい人とわかりにくい人とがいますけど。
Of course, it's easier to tell with some people than others.
つまり僕は分かりやすいってことか。
In other words, it's easy to tell with me?
さあ、どうでしょう。
Couldn't say. Arimura, stop being
冗
so
談を言って
base.
もらっちゃ困るな。僕の思考は複雑で、ちょっとやそっとじゃ思考を読むなんてできないはずだ。
Arimura, Arimura is being great here. Don't try and fool me. My thoughts are so complicated and intricate, it would be impossible to guess them.
へえ。
なんだよ。
What?
いえ、自分では本気でそう思ってるんだなーって。
I'm just surprised you really believe that.
自分ではってなんだよ。
What does that mean?
それじゃあ、さっきの話聞いてもいいんですか？
Can I ask you what we were talking about before?
それは
Well, maybe it's easy to tell what I was thinking,
じ
okay?
ゃあ、その代わり別のこと聞いてもいいっすか？
Can I ask you what something else?
別のこと？
Something else?
先輩ってリア充なんでしたよね。
You're a normie, right?
その話だよ。僕はリア充なんだ。だから女の子の扱いに関
That's
して
right.
は。
That's what I was talking about before. I'm a normie, so I know how to talk to a girl.
リア充ってこういう本読むものなんすか？
Do normies read magazines like this? Uh-oh. Arimura picked up one of the magazines scattered at her feet.
クールキャットプレス。女の子との出会いからエッチまで。
Cool Cat Press. Everything from meeting a girl to getting laid. Oh my god. That freaking line, where was it? My thoughts are so complicated and intricate it would be impossible to guess them. Yeah, 100%. My first thought when he says this is Patrick's line from SpongeBob. The inner machinations of my mind are an enigma. And as I recall, it was really something stupid he was thinking about. Or nothing at all. I can't remember. I haven't seen SpongeBob in ages. Oh, that's good. Yep, everything from meeting a girl to getting laid. Well, he needs a guide. Oh, well, time to get roasted by Arimura for 20 minutes. I quickly reached out to grab it, but she dodged me easily.
なになに？
Yeah, let's
南
see.
方健二先生、僕は彼女ができません。どうすればいいですか？女は部屋に呼んで押し倒せば言うことを聞く。
Let's see. Kenji Minamikata. I can't get a girlfriend. What do I do? Just bring her down to your room and pin her down and she'll do whatever you want. Is this guy's last name Southway? Got like South Method? Southway? Interesting. It's South Style. I'm gonna call him Kenji South Style. What a name. Alright. Just pin her down. She'll do whatever you want. Don't read it. I reached out my hand to grab the magazine from her. But I'd run so far and was so exhausted that even that was enough to throw me off balance. And as a result... This is the situation we're getting put in. Oh my goodness. Ah yes, the classic accidentally tripping and toppling her over. Now that she has read, just pin her and you can do whatever you want to her. Are they gonna fall onto the bed? Oh, a new delusion. Why was she looking at me like that? Important things. Think positive. Wait, This was just like,
まさか先輩
Mishiro, you don't.
違う
I don't. That's a good one. Oh no. No, wait, did I really not? Minami Kana said it after all. If you pin a woman down, she'll do whatever you want. And she actually wanted you to. I didn't actually believe it, but maybe it was true and I just didn't know it. Then maybe in bad, I'm guessing he'd be kicked in the junk or some shit. Actually, there was a whole special on it, wasn't there? It was the July 1999 issue, I think. That bratty little girl a year or two younger than you is actually just waiting for you to make a forceful move. A forceful move? That meant...
そうだよ。実は全て僕が仕組んだことだ。
That's right, I'm actually responsible for everything that happened.
え全部って
Everything?
全部と言ったら全部だよ。あの女のことも何
I
も。
mean everything. Including that woman back then.
じゃあ私たちが襲われたことも先輩が
This dialogue's hilarious already. She can't turn off her ability to tell the truth, but he's telling lies and she's just playing along. You were the one who told her to attack us? But why?
決まってるだろ。
To bring you here, of
君を
course.
ここに連れ込むためだ。
So these would all register as him lying his ass off to her, right? This would never work. All to bring you here. I grabbed her by the wrists and pinned her to the bed.
私をここにそれってつまり
Bring me here? Does that mean? For some reason, Arimura didn't resist. She just stared back into my eyes.
わかるだろ
You know what it means, right?
そんなまさか宮代先輩がそんなことする人だっ
I
たの
can't believe you're the kind of person who'd do that. Despite what she said, her eyes were dewy and shining in the light of the fluorescent bulbs above. As proof.
でもそういう強引な人
But
好き
I like guys who are forceful like that. Cool Cat Press was right. All hail Cool Cat Press!
有村
Arimura.
先輩来て
Mishiro, take me! And oh. Fade to black.
なんて
Yeah, that's not happening. It's just like, yeah, that's not happening. Wait, didn't I think about this once before? Man, I never learned, do I?
先輩早くどいてくれないと大声出しますよ
Senpai, if you don't get off me, I'm gonna scream.
ごめん
Oh, sorry. I lapped off her and started to grab the magazines off the floor.
その雑誌
Those magazines.
これは違うんだ
They're what they look like. I screwed up. I never imagined a younger girl would see these.
違うって何がですか
What does it look like?
だから
You're in shit, man. Oh, right. No matter what kind of excuse I come up with, Arimura would realize it was a lie. Oh, you're so screwed, buddy. She's asking like simple questions. You're like, oh shit. I can't lie. Oh no. Gigalomaniacs, what an obnoxious power.
何笑ってるんだよ
What are you laughing at? His face, probably. Holy shit.
ほんと先輩ってわかりやすいなと思って
I was just thinking you were easy to figure out.
悪かったな分かりやすくて
Sorry for being easy to understand.
別に悪くはないですって私にとってはその方が付き合いやすいですし
There's nothing to apologize for. It makes it easier to hang out with you.
あ付き合うって言っても別に変な意味じゃないですからね
Oh, I don't mean to hang out with you like in a weird way or anything.
念を押さなくったって
You
そ
don't
れ
need
く
to
らい
tell
分
me.
かって
I know. Even I wasn't dumb enough to misunderstand that.
だったらいいんですけど
I hope so. Arimura slowly stood up and looked out the window. You could still hear the faint noises of police and fire truck sirens in the distance. Come to think of it, I'd already forgotten that I almost died out there. Why? No, there was no need to ask why. It was because of Arimura. If I was here alone, I'd probably still be shaking. I wasn't trying to say that after what's happened, Arimura was now someone special to me or anything like that. But in the past few hours, the thick wall between the two of us felt like it had gotten a little thinner.
さてとそれじゃあ私はそろそろ
Okay, it's time for me to leave.
帰るのか
You're leaving?
いつまでもここにいるわけにもいられないですしそれとも泊まっていけとでも言います
I'm not gonna stay here forever. Or are you gonna tell me I should spend the night here?
言わないよ。
I'm not. Damn it, she's making fun of me.
大丈夫です。一応人気のありそうなところを通って帰りますから。さすがにこの騒ぎの中、ことを起こすとも思えないですし。
Don't worry, I'll stick to the streets with lots of people. I can't imagine her doing anything with all the police out anyway. She's probably right, I thought. But...
送っていこうか。
Want me to walk you home?
どうしてですか？
Why?
心配だからに決まってるだろ。
Cause I'm worried, of course.
心配？私が？
Worried about me?
一応それでも女の子だからな。送っていくのは男の役目だろ。
I mean, you're a girl after all. It's a man's duty to walk you home. Is that a lie? Is that a lie? That's what Cool Crap Press had said.
もしかしてそれもあの雑誌の受け売りですか？
Did you get that from the magazine too? She's like, I think he's lying to himself.
違う。
Oh no. That's what Cool Cat Press had said. Did you get that from the magazine? No.
先輩ってやっぱりわかりやすい。
You really are easy to figure out. Oh, that's like walking into a landmine. Holy shit. That's what Cool Cat Press said. Did you get that from the magazine? No. She's like, I'm a human lie detector, but you're just gonna lie on like an obvious yes-no question? Alright. Damn, I give up.
それもあるけど、やっぱり危ないと思って。
That's part of it, but I really do think it's dangerous out there.
ん。
What?
それは本当なんだ。
You're telling the truth, huh?
いえ、なんでも。
No, nothing.
お気
Thanks
持
for
ち
the
だけ
offer.
いただいてお
I'm
き
fine.
ます。
Arimura cheerfully walked towards the exit and stopped and turned around before she got the door.
今日はありがとうございました。先輩のおかげで助かりました。ということにしておきます。ではでは、アディオスグラッシャー。
Thanks for your help today. You saved my life, or at least we'll say you did. Adios, gracias. Thanks and goodbye. Alright. He bowed her head slightly and left.
しておきますは余計だろ。
She didn't have to say that we'll say part. Strangely, though, it didn't bother me. Well, anyway,
ギガロマニアックス。
Gigalomaniacs, huh? I used some kind of power to control the woman's flames. Arimura said that was my power, but that was the only time I've been able to use it. Let's try this again. I took a deep breath to calm myself. My power. At first it was so hazy I had to focus to see it at all. Gradually it began to form a definite shape in the corner of my eye. It was twisted yet beautiful, disgusting yet pure. I don't know what's disgusting about this sword, other than the fact that it doesn't look like a realistic sword. It's like a middle of the road fantasy sword, man. Its very presence was so overwhelming it was impossible to believe it belonged to this world. I reached out my hand fearfully, but I couldn't even touch it. What had I done before? That's right, when she attacked me with her flames, Was this my... It was just a message. That scared me. It was from Arimura. I'd made it home safe. I was surprised she'd be thoughtful enough to let me know. I'm also surprised that we have a cell phone. Didn't we not get a cell phone for literal ages? Maybe I have the timeline screwed up, but I could have sworn our character didn't have his new cell phone at this point. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, whatever. Maybe... No, it wouldn't change that. Maybe I got the timeline screwed up. I think that's what happened. Either way, I was glad nothing happened. After I put down the phone, I tried a lot of different ways to strengthen my power, and at some point I fell asleep. I wouldn't know until morning what happened to the woman after that. They say every person has a single image somewhere in their mind that defines who they are. For Hine Arimura, that image was of her family seated around a dinner table. Oh, this is new. Oh, it's like... How old's Arimura there? Like 8? 10 maybe? Her mom and dad, and her brother, the 4 of them sitting around the table. That image, more than anything else, defined the kind of person that Hine was. Her mom and dad both worked, and on weekdays they'd often come home late. Sometimes they didn't even come home at all. But Hine never felt alone. She was never alone because she had an older brother. Her parents had told her that when she was born, he'd been the happiest boy in the world. But she didn't need to hear that to know how much she meant to her brother. Hine had always had a pretty face ever since she was a baby, and she'd always been popular. But her brother loved her more than anyone. Whenever Hine cried, he'd been there trying to make her feel better. When it was time for her to sleep, he'd rock her in his arms. He was one of the older classmates. He was in one of the older classes at elementary school, and he'd probably wanted to play with his friends. He'd had a lot of friends, actually, and every day they'd invite him over. But he'd always turn them down and come straight home to be with Hine. With their parents working so much, he'd spent a lot of time alone in the house. He probably didn't want Hine to go through the same thing. Normally, acting like that would cost him his friends, but that never happened. He was just that good of a big brother. As Hine got older, she became more and more like a young girl, and her brother loved her even more. Her parents decided Hine could safely be left in her brother's care and started to come home even later. Great job, guys. Every Sunday, they were always home. Sometimes they'd go out somewhere for the day and come back in the evening to eat at the dinner table. That was the rule at the Arimura household. There was always warm food, and her family was always smiling. That was what happiness meant to her. It was something so natural, so normal, she never doubted it. And it was the truth. Oh, so that's what happened last night. Yeah, it was awful. First thing I did when I got to school the next morning was tell Sarika what happened. I had no way of knowing what happened to that woman after that. I checked the news when I woke up, but not only did I not find a name, I couldn't even find anyone reporting on the attack. But there was a lot of people on the social networks talking about this strange woman. After all the chaos, the police had to know about her. Still, I didn't know what would happen next. I was a little hesitant to go to school, but I figured she wouldn't be willing to attack me in broad daylight. Since I'd made it here safely, I must have been right. Maybe not. What happened then? What happened? I took Arimura to my room. Your room? You mean that? She said trailer house. I heard that. RP. What else could I mean? He didn't correct her, weirdly enough. Just the two of you? Of course. It's not like I'm gonna bring the woman who tried to kill us. I see. It felt like she was implying something. What are you grinning about? I mean you, alone with a girl in your room? That's amazing, isn't it? How...
いつも言ってるように僕はリア充なんだ。その程度のこと別に珍しくなんてない。
Hurry, listen, I told you this 1,000 times before. I'm a normie. This is nothing for me. Then have any other girls been to your room since you moved there?
しょっちゅう。
Many times. Any who weren't me or not? See? It was your first time, right?
うるさいな。
Shut up. Something happened? Rika's voice dropped into conspiratorial whisper as she grinned at me.
何かってなんだよ。
What do you mean by something? Don't be silly, you know what I mean.
あるわけないだろ。そもそも僕たちは襲われたんだぞ。それどころじゃないって。
Of course not. We were almost killed. We had bigger things to worry about.
そんなこと言って、
Oh, come on, I
本
bet
当
you
は
like
ま
it.
んざらでもなかったり。
だから違うってば。
I did not.
あらら、そこにいるのは。
Oh, who do I spy with my little eye? It turned around and saw Arimura herself waving at us.
有村。
Arimura.
有村です。
It's
宮
me,
代先輩、
Arimura.
チャオス。
Miyashiro, cha.
あ
Yeah. Arimura was acting like nothing like the way she did last night in my room, and I wasn't sure how to deal with it. But I guess she was always like this at school. Alright.
セリもチャオス。
Very ciao to you too.
チャオス、ひなちゃん。
Ciao, Hina. At least she hadn't heard what we were talking about. Time to change the subject.
で、一体何が違うってんですか？
No! No, so? You didn't. What?
もしかして聞いてたのか。
Did you hear what we were saying?
まんざらでもないとか違うとか何の話だったんです？ねえ、教えてくださいよ。いいでしょ？ね？
About you liking something? Or maybe not liking it? What were you talking about? Come on, tell me.
それがね、実
Well, you
は。
see.
違うんだ。
I didn't, it's
別に
nothing
大した
important.
話じゃなくて。
Press X to doubt.
ふーん。
Nothing important. And Arimura's like, I think you're lying, buddy. That's the, I think you're lying. And she's a lie detector, so she's not going to be wrong. Her voice was chipper, but her eyes weren't laughing at all. That's right. There's no way I could lie to Arimura.
ただ昨日の話をしてただけだよ。
We were just talking about yesterday is all.
昨日の？
Yesterday? Yeah.
昨日のねえ。
Yesterday.
そうですか。
I see. That must have been good enough for her. Good enough. I expected her to be more suspicious. Oh, that's right. Arimura could only tell if I was lying or telling the truth. In other words, I was safe as long as I didn't tell her everything. Maybe I could use that with Arimura in the future.
そうだ。そんなことより宮代先輩、これ見てくださいよ。
Yoshiro, look at this. Arimura gently rubbed her hair, which she tied up to the side.
髪がどうかしたのか。
Did you do something with your hair?
わかりません？ほらここ、髪の毛のここんとこ、昨日のあれでチリチリボーンになっちゃって。
Can't you tell? Look, here. It got fried after what happened last night.
どこ？
Where? I got closer to look, but I couldn't really tell.
ほら、ここっすよ、ここ。
Look, right here.
ああ、本当だ。
Oh, you're right.
でもこのくらい大したことないだ
It's no big deal, right?
ああ、なんすかその言い方。女子の髪の毛をなんだって思ってんです
Not a
か？
big deal. My good sir, don't you realize how important a girl's hair is to her?
だいたい先輩がさっさとなんとかしてくんないからですよ。
It's your fault for not dealing with that woman sooner anyway.
何言ってんだ。そんなのただの言いがかりだろ。なあ、お前。
That's not even remotely fair, right, Anoe?
お
Oh,
前
Anoe. Anoe. No. She's just laughing. Anoe, why are you so treacherous, Anoe? Why?
先輩、セリどうしちゃったんすか？
Miyashiro, what happened to Sari?
ああ
Oh,
こいつ昔からこういうところがあるんだ。気にしないでくれ。
she's always like this. Don't worry about it. She's probably thinking about something stupid again. But if I ask about it, I'd probably have a mess on my hands.
あ、そうだ。それより宮代先輩、例の能力のことですけど。
Miyashiro, about your power. He was whispering, so I whispered too.
そのことなら
Oh,
僕
I
の
wanted
方
to talk
から
about that
話
too.
がある。
例の能力ってもしかしてあの剣が見えるとかいう？
The power? You mean the one where you can see that sword?
セリ、誰が聞いてるかわかんないんだからそんな大きな声で話すなっつーの。
Siri, you don't know who might be listening. Don't talk so loud.
それで先輩、
Sorry. Anyway, Ishiro.
ああ、実は少しだけどコントロールできるようになってきたかも。
Yeah, I've actually learned to control it a little. Maybe.
それってタクも不思議な力が使えるようになったってこと？
Does that mean you have a mysterious power too?
セリ
Same.
う
Oops. Playing the power of the airhead. After what happened yesterday, I've been tired, but I've done what I could to learn more about my power. It looked like I needed to use someone else's brain to make my delusions real, so I asked Gen to be my guinea pig. Knowing Gen, he'd be so drunk he'd forget after a day or so. As a result,
ちょっとくらい軽いものなら動かせるようになった。
I can move things that aren't too heavy.
ちょっとくらいって例えば石とかですか？
How light are we talking? Like a rock?
いや、もうちょっと。
What, a little tinier, maybe?
じゃあノートとか？
A notebook then?
2、3ページくらいなら。
A couple pages. A couple pages?
何それ、そんなんじゃスカートめくりくらいにしか使えないじゃん。
What? The only thing you could use that for is flipping up girls' skirts. Sarika, why is that the first thing that jumped into your mind?
今はまだ大したことないかもしれないけど、そのうちもっと大きいものだって動かせるようになるって。
It might not be anything special now, but eventually I'll be able to move stuff that's heavier. Sarika, you jerk, I tried really hard. But still, flipping up skirts, huh? Aww. I see, I hadn't thought of that. I'd overlooked that. What a brilliant idea. But I couldn't do it here. No, but this might be a good chance to show off my powers. And what's more, Sarika, this is your fault to begin with. Do you know how hard I worked just to move one tiny little object? I barely got a wink of sleep last night. It was the least she could do after all that effort.
Taku?
そうかい、そうかい。そんなに言うなら見せてやろうじゃないか。
If you really want
こ
to
の
see it,
僕の力を。
I'll show you.
宮代先輩？
悪いけど、今さら後悔しても遅いからな。僕の心に火をつけた自分たちの愚かさを呪うがいい。
Sorry, but it's too late for regrets now. Curse your foolishness for giving me the idea. No one can stop me now. I concentrated. I need a drink. A terrible, beautiful Excalibur appeared in the corner of my vision. The power welled forth from deep within me. Come, my Excalibur, give me power. Behold! This
これがギガロマニアックスとしての僕の
is my Gigalomaniac ability!
僕の力だ
This is my power! My power lifted up the skirt of every single girl in the school. Let's go. You can try to hold down your skirts, but it won't work. No one can stop my power.
どうだ見たかこれが僕の
Did you see that? This is my...
じゃあこれが宮代
This
先
is
輩の
Mishra's.
これが
This is
タカの
Taku.
そうこれこそが僕の力だ
That's right, this is my power. Alright. The scene around me was something out of a nightmare. No, a most wonderful dream.
タクやめて
Taku, stop! Every girl in the school was walking around with their skirts blown up now.
どうだ恐れ入ったか
Well, do you understand now?
はいさすが宮代先輩です
Amazing issue.
これからは僕の言うことは何でも聞くか
Will you do whatever I tell you now?
タクの言う通りにするから
I'll do whatever you say.
分かっただ
Alright,
ったら許
I
して
forgive you. I slowly lowered my hands and the chaos around me began to subside.
やだも
Jeez, that was terrible.
さあ約束通りこれからお前たちは僕の言いなりだ。
And now, since you promised, from now on you're both my slaves, got it?
うタクル様
Yes, Master Takuru.
なんてことが。
If only.
ねえねえセリ宮代先輩どうしちゃった
The best thing about delusions is that Sari is reading your mind whenever you have one. So she's like, oh my goodness, this is where we're going. It's Sari, what's gotten into
気
Mishira?
にしないでいつものことだから
Don't worry about him, he's always like that.
であるからしてこの場合は天 P よ。
So in this case, point P. Yeah, she's got to be used to it at this point, right? Arimura and I decided it would be better not to use my power for a while. No matter what that wound was after, it was very likely it had something to do with our powers, which meant I should avoid doing anything that would attract attention. And everybody knew when you had a trump card like this, it was best to master it in secret and play it at the right moment.
これをこの式に代入すると
So if you plug this into the formula... Anyway, why was math such a pain? I wanted information, not formulas. Numbers and formulas are ideas and didn't provide benefit at all as information.
こういう
What an
時
idiot. At times like this. I took out my Pokecom and hid it under my desk, then loaded Shibuya News.
え
Eh? What?
おどうした宮代。
What's wrong, Miyashiro?
あいやなんでも
Nothing.
そうか。じゃあ次の問題解いてみろ。
Oh, I see. Solve this next problem then. Okay. Crap, that was a mistake. But this was big news.
おい大変だニュースだニュース
Hey, big news, big news. I ran inside I heard the door to the club room fly open and Ito ran inside.
なんだよ大声で。
What is it? Why are you yelling?
何落ち着いてんだ宮代ニュースなんだよそれも大ニュー
Why are you so called Michiro News? And big news too.
スいいかよく聞けなんと例の事件ニュージェネの再来と呼ばれる一連の事件
Listen
あ
carefully.
の事件の
The person behind the new generation madness has been...
犯人が捕まったんだろ。
They were arrested, right?
そうなんだよ
That's right.
なんだ
Wait, what?
お前知ってたのか
You already knew?
当たり前だろ。僕を誰だと思ってるんだ。これでも伊達に学園一の状況を自負してるわけじゃない。
Of course I
お前が
knew.
持ってくる情報くらいとっくの昔に知ってるよ。
Who do you think I am? I call myself the biggest right-sider in the school for a reason. Everything you learned, I learned a long time ago.
それじゃあ捕まったやつの情報も
What about information on the girl I caught?
ハイダリコ18歳無職。昨夜渋谷で多発した放火騒動の中、街中を歩いているところ警官によって確保。
Riko Haida, age 18, unemployed, arrested by a police officer last night on suspicion of being behind several arson cases in Shibuya. Right?
なんだ知ってたのかよちつまん
So
ない
you already knew, huh?
今度こそ俺の方が早いと思ったのによ
I was sure I'd beat you to the punch this time. Riko Haida was arrested. That's interesting. To tell the truth, I found about it in math class. That's how information works. Knowing things first puts you at an advantage. That said, I was overjoyed to know the woman who'd attacked me had been arrested. Now I wouldn't have to be afraid of being attacked again.
でもうち的には捕まってよかったのかな
Is it really good for the newspaper club they got caught?
なんだよ、尾上。
What
そ
do you
れ
mean,
どういう
Onoe?
ことだよ。
だってさ事件がもっと大きくなってればもっとでっかいスクープをゲットできるチャンスもあったかもしれないでしょ
If the case got even bigger, that means we could have gotten a bigger scoop, right?
確かにそうだな。そういう意味では惜しかったとも言えるか。
That's right. I guess in that case, it is bad news.
タク
quite the
的には
change.
どう
What do you
もっ
think,
と事
Taka?
件を追いたかった
Did you want to keep chasing the case? Ooh, she's baiting you. Alright. This is an interesting twist, though. Riko Haida gets arrested. We'll see what they try to do from here. So that means they're going to be missing a murder. They're going to be missing someone to murder, right? I wasn't sure. It was true, the bigger this got, the more people would be paying attention.
いや、よかったんじゃないか。
No, I think it's for the best.
なんだ、お前にしては随分消極的な意見だな。 もっと起きてくれってんじゃないかと思ったが。
I didn't expect you to be so passive. I figured you'd want more stuff to happen.
なんだよ。それじゃまるで僕が凶悪事件を望んでいるみたいじゃないか。
You're making it sound like I want people to die.
いいか、言っておくが、僕はサイコパスじゃない。別に事件が起きることを望んでいるわけではなく、起きてしまった事件の真相の究明こそを望んでいるんだ。
Listen up, just so we're clear, I'm not a psychopath. I don't want people to get murdered. I want to know the truth behind the murders that already happened. Tell the truth, I was a little disappointed the case ended this way. But half of me felt relieved too. Anybody who'd been the target of a murder attempt could understand how terrifying it was for me to have that woman whose strange powers try to kill me. There were ways to deal with a physical attack, but their power violated all the laws of physics. It was a miracle I made it away from her alive at all, so I was honestly glad the woman, Haida, had been caught.
まあ、あの女が警察に捕まってしまったことで、全てが警察の手に委ねられてしまうというのは、甚だ不本意ではあるが。
Well, I'm a little disappointed. Now that the police have her, they'll be taking everything over.
尾上の言うように、もうちょっと事件が長引いていれば、世間の注目も集まっただろうし、そこでビシッと僕が事件を解決していたなら、それはそれでこの新聞部も有名になったんだろうけれど。
Just like Onoe said, if things had dragged on a little longer, even more people would have been paying attention to the case. If I'd been the one who solved it, the newspaper club would have been famous.
それも今更言ったって仕方がないことだろう。
But there's no point complaining about that now.
待てよ。これってさ、俺たちが追ってた事件は全て終焉を迎えたってことか？
Wait, does this mean the case we've been following is all over?
それは。
Well, before I could give my opinion, the door opened.
ひなえちゃんの登場ですよ。
Ciao, everybody. Tina's here.
有村。
Arimura,
何しに来たんだよ。
what are you doing here?
あー、冷たい。共に生死を分ける戦いをくぐり抜けた仲なのに。
Does she secretly like me now? How could you be so cruel? We went to the fight of our lives together.
ああ、そういや、宮代が襲われた時、有村も一緒だったんだっけか？
Right, when Miyashiro was attacked, you were there too, right? Weren't you?
そうっすよ。こう暗いお姉さんが現れたと思ったら、ドカーン、ボワー、ドーンって、そりゃもう大変だったんですから。
That's right, it was this crazy, scary lady came up and everything went boom, bam. It was crazy nuts. She was waving her hands in an exaggerated manner as she spoke, but it was impossible to figure out what she was trying to say. Yeah, it was actually impossible to figure out what she was saying.
なるほどなるほど。ここが新聞部ですか。
I see, I see. This is the newspaper club, huh?
そういえばひなちゃんってここ来るの初めてだっけ？
It's your first time here, actually, isn't it?
あの日、ほら文化祭の日に来てるけど、あの時はじっくり見たりいじったりできる感じじゃなかったじゃん。
Nope, I was here once before. You know, on the day of the culture festival, but it didn't feel like the right time to really poke around. Arimura walked around the room, staring at everything that stopped in front of the cork board on the wall.
あ、これかっこいい。海外ドラマみたい。
It's so cool. It's like a detective show,
だろ？
right?
一応事件のことについてはそれで全部考察を。
It's got all our observations on the case.
ねえねえセリー、これは何？
Hey, Sari, what's this?
それはね。
He wasn't listening at all.
なあ、宮代。さっきの話だけどさ。
Miyashiro, about what we were talking about before.
ああ、さっきの。
Oh, yes, before. What?
悪い。
What was that?
何の話だっけ？
だから、事件はこれで終わりかってこと。
About whether the case was over.
ああ、そうか。それについては
Right. I was thinking about that.
僕も考えてみたんだ。
何何の話っす？
Talking about it. Until a moment ago, she was enjoying her conversation with Sarika, but now Arimura happily butted into ours.
だ
Stop,
から
Sarika!
今回の一連の事件についての話だよ。
We were talking about the
ほら
case.
僕たちを襲った女が捕まっただろ。だから、
Heard the woman who attacked us got arrested, right? So.
え？捕まったんですか？
What?
あ
That
の
scary
怖
woman
い
got
女の
arrested.
人？
なんだよ。知らなかったのか。
She had friends in a lot of places and seemed like she'd be really quick to pick up on new info. I was surprised to see she was actually a wrong sider.
なんだよもう。警察も捕まったなら捕まったって教えてくれればいいのに。
Jeez, if the cops caught her, they should have told us.
まったくだな。
That's right, we were
こっ
almost
ちは
burned
危
to a
うく丸
crisp.
焦げになるところだったんだから。
ですよね。利用する時だけ利用して、これだから市民の信用をなくしちゃうんですよ。
I know, right? After all they made us do for them. That's why nobody trusts cops these days.
まあ警察への文句は置いといてだ。その宮代の考えってのは？
You can complain about the police by the time. Mishiro, what are you thinking?
ああ、そうだった。いいか？これまでの事件とこれからのことを総合して考えるとだ。
Listen, if you look back on the murders that have happened so far, none of them. First there were the murders, then there were the fires as well. I decided to think about the relationship between the two of them. All right, we're plotting their relationship. The first thing I had to do was go over the cases that happened so far. All the cases that had happened so far formed what people are calling the return of New Generation Madness. First murder was Don't Look at Me, the death of Utani, the Nikoniya live streamer. Second, Leaky Noise, Momone Takanayagi, the Annie song singer. And third, that's right, Revolving Dead, where Arimura's acquaintance Kikita had been killed. I remember that one clearly as well. I'd been there after all. And the next one, the fourth murder, was another one I'd never forget. Gotsuan Death, where Watabe, the internet reporter, had died at the school culture festival. Those were the four murders that had happened so far. The problem was what came next. The fires. The fires had happened at near the Don't Look at Me incident in Jianan, near the Leaky Noise incident in Shinzen, near the Revolving Dead incident around the Love Hotel, near the Gotsuan death incident, in other words, near Hekiho Academy. That's right, the fires were happening regularly near the sites of New Generation Madness.
以上のことからわかるのは、一連の事件と連続放火事件が非常に近いところで起こっているということだ。
So we know the fires are taking place near the sites of the murders. It would be strange to think they weren't connected somehow. I concluded the fires were all set by Riko Haida, the pyrokinetic gigglomaniac.
でもそれじゃあ手口が違うのはなんでだ？これまでの事件とは明らかにやり口が違うだろう。
Then why are the methods used so different? The murders didn't involve arson.
それは
That's because... Why?
そう。これまでの放火事件はあくまでも練習だったんだよ。練習したけどうまくいかなか
Ooh,
った。
that doesn't follow, Takuru.
だからこれまでは違う方法を選んでいた。
I know. The arson incidents were just practice. She practiced, but it didn't go well, so she chose a different method.
なんだよ。納得できてないって顔だな。意見があるなら言えばいいだろう。
You don't look satisfied. If you've got an opinion, say it. I'm not
意
satisfied
見っ
either.
ていうかさ。
I don't know if it counts as an opinion, but your idea is terrible.
あの施設はどうなるんです？
What about that lab? Arimura seemed to know at Ito's inability to finish his sentence and interrupted with a do to ruin.
施設ってあの病院の地下にあった施設のことか。
The lab? The one in the basement?
そうです。あそこで行われてた研究。あれは事件と関係なかったって宮代先輩
That's
は
right. Do
思う
you
んで
think
す
the
か？
research they did had nothing to do with the case?
それは
It probably did, but the experiments that were performed down there ended with the earthquake. It would be strange for her to just suddenly start killing people now. When I told Arimura that, she still didn't look satisfied.
柿田さんのことはご存知ですよね。
You know about Kikita, right?
あの回転デッドの被害者だよな。確か。
The victim of Revolving Dead, right? I think?
はい。あの人が私の兄の友人だったって話はしましたよね。
I told you he was a friend of my brother's, right? I remembered she
今
had...
だから正直に言いますけど、彼は私たちのような能力者について調べていたんです。そしてその後ろには何か巨大な組織が関わっているかもしれないって。
Ooh, interesting. I can tell you the truth about this now. He was investigating psychics like us and he said there might be some kind of huge organization behind all this.
巨大な組織な。まるで陰謀論だな。で、その組織ってのは？
A huge organization, huh? Sounds like a conspiracy theory to me. What was its name?
それを事件のあったあの日に教えてくれる予定でした。ですが。
He was supposed to tell me on the day of the incident, but... He died. No, he was murdered.
じゃあ有村は犯人はあのハイダリコって女じゃないって言い
You're
たい
saying
の
the
か？
killer wasn't Riko Haida?
そういうわけじゃないですよ。私には難しいことわかんないし。ただ、仮にあの人が犯人だとしても、
That's right.
裏にはまだ何かあるんじゃないかって、そんな風に思うだけです。
That's not it. I'm not smart enough to figure that out anyway. But even if she was the killer, I think there might be someone else behind her.
伊藤はどう思う？
What do you think, Ito?
まあ確かに組織とか機関とかってのは魅力的な言葉ではあるが、あんまリアリティはねえよな。
I always did love conspiracy theories, but it doesn't seem very realistic.
結局どっちにしても今の状況じゃ判断材料が少なすぎるっつうかさ。
Either way, there's not enough info to make that call right now.
尾上は？
What about you, Onoe?
私はそうだな。
Me? What
タクはどう思う？
do you think, Taku?
質問に質問で返すなよ。
Want to answer a question with a question?
そうだけどさ、私にはわかんないんだもん。
Sure, but I don't really know. You don't know, at least try to think about it,
し
okay?
ょうがないな。じゃあ僕の意見を言うが、僕はこれ以上襲われるのはごめんだ。
Fine. I'll
だ
tell you
から
my own opinion.
あの女が犯人だったらいいなって思う。
I don't want to get attacked again, so I hope she's the killer. To be honest, I thought it was a miracle I made it out of that alive. If she attacked me when I was asleep, I wouldn't have lasted a minute.
あとは警察の取り調べ次第だろうな。
Now we just have to wait and see what the police say.
あの女が犯人にしても違うにしても、念のためこれからしばらくの間は気をつけた
Actually
方がいい。
being cautious, good job. Whether she was the killer or not, it would be a good idea to be careful for a while now.
私もそう思います。お昼も話をしましたけど、特に能力者である私と宮代先輩は用心した方がいいでしょうね。
We talked about this at lunch, but I think both you and I should be extra careful because of our powers. I silently nodded. Normally I'd want to practice and try to learn to better and control my abilities, but it would be smarter to wait and see if the case ended
よ
first.
し。とりあえずしばらくは慎重に行動するってことで。
For now, we'll just be careful. And when we finished, we heard the sound of someone pounding the wall in the corner again.
たくまたか。
Hey, again? Hey,
おい
Kazuki.
カズキ。
She was busy with ESO too. She couldn't hear us again.
尾上。
Oh no way.
オッケー。
Okay. She nodded and went over to Kazuki, taking off
お
her
い、は
headphones.
なちゃん。壁殴っちゃダメだってタクが。
Hey, Hannah, Taki says no pounding on the wall.
先輩、その人は。
Senpai, who's that?
ああ、有村は面識なかったっけ？和樹花1年。うちの部員だよ。
I guess you've never seen her before. Hannah Kazuki, she's a first-year student and member of our club.
へえ。さっきまでそこにいるって全然気づかなかった。
Wow, I didn't even realize she was there. Arimura walked over to her.
チャオっす。
Ciao. Kazuki bowed her head.
私、有村ひなえ。ひなちゃんとか、ひな先輩って呼んで。あなたは、花でいいよね。
Hina Arimura. Call me Hina if you want. I can call you, Hannah, right? She bowed again.
ごめん。声に出してもらえる？
Sorry, can you say that out loud?
ああ、ダメだよ、ひなちゃん。はなちゃんは喋んないから。
Oh no, Hannah doesn't talk.
そうなの？なんで？宗教上の理由とか？
Religious reasons? Something?
理由は知らないけど、喋らないんだよね。
I don't know why, but she doesn't talk, right? She bowed.
一言も？
Not a word?
一言も。
Not a word.
そうなんだ。ま、それはそれでいっか。楽
I
だ
see.
し。
Yes, that makes
じゃあ
sense.
そういうことで。
Makes things easier, so...
お近づきの印に、シェイクハンド。
So we're friends now, let's shake hands. Shake hand, though. Kazuki was still hesitant, but Arimura grabbed her hand and swung it around. This was probably her version of a handshake. What surprised me was Kazuki didn't seem upset. I never thought I thought she'd resist Arimura's attempt to force them to be friends, but she seemed kind of embarrassed. Then something amazing
これ
happened.
からもよろしくね、花。
Nice to meet you, Hannah. As Arimura swung her arm around.
よろしくかも。
Nice to meet you, maybe. What?
おい、
Hey, what's that?
今のって。
カズキが喋った？
Hannah talked? The whole room shouted in amazement. We'd known Hannah for 6 months, and this is the first time we'd heard her voice. Hannah herself seemed more surprised than anyone. It felt like she didn't intend to speak, but had just been caught up in Arimura's energy.
なんだ可愛い声してるじゃん。もっと喋ればいいのに。
Wow, you have a cute voice. You should talk more.
ねえねえ、もう一回喋って。せーの。
Come on, say something else. Ready? Go.
いいじゃんいいじゃん。ちょっとだけでいいからさ。
Come on, you can do it just a little. It doesn't have to be long. He wasn't gonna say anything else, it seemed.
まさか
I can't believe Kazuki would.
本当に
She really can.
喋れたんだね。
何よりも恐ろしいのは有村のテンションだ
It's
な。
Arimura's energy that scares me most of all. Everything we talked about that day seemed pretty important, but it all was blown away by our shock at seeing Kazuki actually speak.
終わった終わった
We're done, yes. I'm afraid that is also the signal for us to be done now. We'll continue this next time.